Welcome everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Hello. My name is Lincoln Wilburn, and I'm a student here at Estill County High School. I participate in the Y Club, and I'm running for presiding officer at the KYA Assembly this fall. All proceeds received tonight will go to help students cover costs for Y Club's two annual events, the Kentucky Youth Assembly and the Kentucky United Nations Assembly. I would like to introduce a video showcasing Y Club. The KYMCA is the largest YMCA youth and government program in the United States. Founded in 1949, the club provides civic and social outreach programs for students in every county in Kentucky. The club works to ensure that all participants uphold the four core values of the YMCA. Honesty, caring, respect, and last but not least, responsibility. We will now begin our debate shortly. We're waiting on one more candidate. And reveal. Oh, okay. Perfect.
Through the door back there. Through the door.
Turn off the lights in here, baby.
They want to point out where they sit. You have that printed out still?
Like where each candidate's going to be sitting?
Yes.
I have that somewhere. I think I put it over here.
Let's see. No.
And I don't have that.
Okay, so it will be Chris Flynn, Brian Brooks, and Mr. Morris. Okay.
Okay.
All right, and I'll tell you the other
Okay. Might want to chat. Good. We will now begin our debate. Will candidates please come forward? For Sheriff. Should have the order of Chris Flynn over here, Brian Brooks, and then Mr. Morris on the very right. I will now explain the rules of debate. Each race will be provided with 5 questions asked by a Y Club member. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to respond to each question. After each question round, each candidate will be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Candidates, when you have 30 seconds remaining, my timekeeper will raise a yellow card. Please, let's stay on topic and be respectful. Are we ready to begin? All right. Now to begin the sheriff debate. Each candidate will now be given 1 minute to introduce themselves. Mr. Brooks will go first, followed by Mr. Morris, and then followed by Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you have 1 minute. Go whenever you're ready. Do we? Start this over? Yeah.
Good evening, citizens of Estill County. My name is Brian Brooks. I'm currently the chief of the Urban Police Department, and as you all are well aware, I'm seeking the office of Sheriff of Estill County. I humbly ask for your support, and good luck to all the candidates.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Morris, you will now have 1 minute. Begin when you're ready.
My name's Russell Morris, or Russell Doc Morris. I'm the mayor, I don't do public speaking, so y'all bear with me. So I'm the police chief in Ravenna. I've been up there about 2 years. I'm running for the office of sheriff. It's always been in my heart. I feel like I could do a really good job representing Estill County, taking care of it. And that's pretty much it, I guess.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Flynn, you will now have 1 minute. Begin when you are ready.
All right, good evening and welcome to tonight's forum. I'd like to thank everyone that has helped make this forum possible, especially this group of students here at the Y Club. Can let's everybody go ahead and give them a round of applause.
Thanks, guys.
It's a group of students like this that's going to be our future leaders, and I'm glad that they are being involved with this election process. So, I would also like to thank you all for electing me 4 years ago to serve you as your Estill County Sheriff. I've been doing that for the past 7 years, and it's been an honor, and I'm truly humbled. I also would like to thank my family sitting back there. Being sheriff, there's no time clock. You don't punch out and go home. There's many times that I sit down at the dinner table, and I get up and go to a call. So I thank them for standing behind me and everything that I do. So thank you all.
Thank you, candidates. We will now begin our debate. Our first question will be asked by Darvik Stevens.
Alrighty. Where are my questions from?
What do you believe are the three biggest crises facing Estill County today? What are some ways your job as sheriff will work to solve these crises?
Candidates, you will each get 2 minutes to respond to the question. The order will go Mr. Morris, Mr. Flynn, and then Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, you may begin when you're ready.
All right, the three biggest crises I see facing Estill County, which the biggest one is going to be the drug issue, the mental health issue, and then the homelessness. I think all three of these are intertwined from the drug issues. And what I would like to see is I would like to see Ravenna, Irvin, and the Sheriff's Department get together and do a drug task force that stays in the county and to work on the drug issues. That way, all three agencies could get out in the county and do whatever they need to do with that. The homelessness and the mental health, like we deal with it, probably not as much as the county does, but it comes from the drug abuse. So like, I would like to see the churches come together and maybe the community and try to get some resources, maybe for like a homeless shelter. And then if we could get these people in a homeless shelter, we could reach out for resources and try to get them the mental health they need and some of the other issues that they're facing in their life. That's it.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Flynn, you will now be given 2 minutes to answer that question.
All right, two of those three are going to be mental health and drug addiction. It's a problem all across the state. And when it comes to addressing these two crises, because in most cases the drug addiction's caused the mental health issue. And there's not many facilities that will do a dual diagnosis. If you're in the mental health world, you know what I'm talking about. Drug addiction, mental health is two different things, but whenever we get someone evaluated for a mental health evaluation, a lot of times when Eastern State finds out that they got a mental health or a drug issue, they won't admit them into the hospital. So then we're forced to just release them back to the street, and there's no help for them. So they're two and two together. We've always worked closely with Markham and Wallace Hospital here in the Estill County Health Department, trying to offer services to get these people help here locally, because the state is behind the power curve when it comes to dealing with this issue. So if we don't do it here locally, it's always been an issue. We've also continued, we have targeted drug dealers all across this county. I've personally served and got several that's serving federal prison sentences right now, and we've just here recently assisted the federal agencies of getting another guy federally indicted. Federal indictments hold a lot more weight. The state courts, you can get, a couple of years out of it, but we've got to get these guys federally charged, and we have partnered with the federal agencies and been able to convict several people with that, as well as
30 seconds remaining.
the other one is, and I know I'm probably going to get criticized for this, we've got a huge dog problem. If the ladies here, Sherry and Karen that works in my office, and Bobby, we get numerous complaints about dogs, whether it be a dog bite, killing farm animals, dogs running loose, or not being taken care of. We've got to do more about that. There's not many laws that I can enforce to do anything about that, and a lot of people, don't understand that, but we got to do more to figure that out.
I'm sorry, Mr. Flynn, but your time has elapsed. Thank you very much. Mr. Brooks, you will now have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you're ready.
Economic decline, the drug opioid epidemic, and affordable housing. My approach to the crisis facing Estill County is multifaceted. The number one cause for the issues we are facing are businesses aren't relocating to Estill County due to the conditions they're faced with. Why would anyone want to relocate to an area plagued by drugs and their effects on our communities? One of the ways I'd help solve this is to target the drug dealing that is rampant in our communities and neighborhoods. I have already spoken with U.S. Attorney Jason Parman for the Eastern District of Kentucky, and while working with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office, the people distributing drugs will be taken to federal court, and there they will face mandatory sentencing and stiffer penalties. This takes them out of the state court system that operates under different guidelines for sentencing and uses our federal partners for a more beneficial outcome for the citizens of Estill County. Estill County is designated in the top 5 for overdose rates in the state. We're not recognized as a HIDA county, and we need to be recognized as a HIDA county, and that's all agencies coming together as a coalition to make this happen. I also want to create an ICAC unit, Internet Crimes Against Children. I just implemented that for the Urban Police Department to target child predators and people that seek our children out for nefarious purposes. All calls to services need to be answered properly.
30 seconds remaining.
I like to hold community meetings with each community on a monthly basis to see what is going on in their respective communities and see how the Sheriff's Department can serve them better. I'd also like to have a tip line installed at the agency where people could call in suspicious activity, assist neighborhoods in setting up neighborhood watch programs, introduce new programs where we can partner with individual neighborhoods for beautification and revitalization.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks, but your time has elapsed. Candidates, you each will be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Morris, you will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Flynn, and followed by Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, you have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
Okay, the drug issue, so I know the sheriff said the mental health and the drugs is 2 different things, but I've dealt with people having mental illness, and it's due to the meth they're doing. And so we got to get them dried up off of the drug stuff first to be able to treat the mental health side of it. And the homelessness, there's people out here walking the street all hours of the night, and they'd rather do
30
that
seconds.
than
30.
they'd rather do that because every money they get goes to the drugs. So we need to try to figure out how to reach out and get them resources to help them individuals. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Mr. Flynn, your 1 minute starts when you're ready.
I didn't say it was 2 different things. My exact, what I was talking about is that the drug addiction has caused the mental health, so it's not 2 different things. Mr. Brooks also mentioned about that he's made phone calls to the AUSA, which is the Assistant U.S. Attorney. With the Sheriff's Office, with me being the Sheriff, those relationships already made with the other agents that work here in this county and actually are doing active cases at this time. So those are relationships that I don't have to make, that I've already made. So
30 seconds remaining.
When you vote for me, you're voting for someone that has already made those relationships. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that I'm going to do something. I'm going to tell you what I'm actually doing.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you have 1 minute. You may begin when you are ready.
Yes, I'm a certified CIT officer, means Crisis Intervention Team Officer. It's a program that is associated with improved officer skills and knowledge about mental illness, focuses on reducing the arrest of people with mental illness while simultaneously increasing the likelihood that individuals will receive mental health services. Drug addiction and mental health illness often run hand in hand, and this gives me the knowledge and tools that the other candidates don't possess to address these often complex scenarios.
Thank you, candidates, for your answers to our first question. It is now time for question number 2, and our next question will be asked by Haven Reynolds.
What are some drug prevention programs that you believe should be introduced into Estill County?
Candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to respond to this question. Mr. Flynn, you will answer first, followed by Mr. Brooks, and then followed by Mr. Morris. Mr. Flynn, you have 2 minutes. Begin when ready.
This is actually one of my favorite questions of this. Schools already have several different prevention programs, but true prevention needs to be addressed at a higher level. It starts with pharmaceuticals and doctors. I believe we need legislation passed that will address overprescribing medication to our children without our parents fully knowing the side effects of these highly addictive drugs. Just like how OxyContin was overprescribed in the late 90s and 2000s, leading people to stronger opioids such as fentanyl and heroin. Adderall can lead to cocaine and methamphetamine use. Adderall and methamphetamine are both Schedule II stimulants under the Controlled Substance Act, meaning that they have a high potential for abuse and dependence. Keep that in mind. Adderall and Ritalin are in the same drug category as cocaine and methamphetamine with a high potential for abuse and dependence. So just like the doctors back in the 90s and 2000 got people onto prescribed OxyContins because it was what was being done, and then once they got those pills taken away from them, then they went to harder drugs. By kids experimenting with drugs and alcohol, the common part of young adulthood, those who begin using gateway drugs as teenagers are more likely to develop severe and dangerous addiction. This is a serious issue, and I believe we need to educate everyone more on it so that they are making an informed decision about the medications that we are allowing our children to take. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, it is now your turn. You will have 2 minutes to respond. Go when you are ready.
Botman Life Skills Training Program, a program proven to cut drug use by 75%. It also cuts alcohol use by 60%, violence by 50%, and tobacco use by 87%. It's an evidence-based training program that targets our youth from elementary, middle, and high school. The next one is Heroin Education Action Team, or the acronym HEAT. It's a program sponsored by the U.S. District Attorney of Eastern Kentucky and families who have lost loved ones to overdose. A program designed to educate and reduce the growing harm to Kentucky families caused by heroin and opioid abuse. Operation Engage through the DEA, which targets all areas of drug use from 3 years old to adult. It has school resources, workplace resources, cultural-based resources, parental toolkits, and virtual field trips. You can actually access this for free on the DEA website under Education and Prevention at www.dea.gov.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, it is now your turn. You have 2 minutes, and you may begin when you are ready.
Okay, so what are some drug prevention programs? I would like to see something come back into the schools, kind of like DARE. I know, like when I was younger, DARE was a big thing, pretty active in the schools. I would like to see that come back so we can educate the young adults. You know, and I was talking to somebody in Powell County. They actually take some of the alcohol money, I think, and they produce videos to show in school to show like how peer pressure works, like trying to push kids to like try to smoke or smoke marijuana or something like that. I would like to see something like that coming back into the school. We're going to have to reach out into the school system and get these young adults while they're young before they get up to the age where they've done made their minds up. And so any kind of program like that I would be for, and that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Candidates, you will each be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Flynn, you will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Brooks, and then followed by Mr. Morris. You have 1 minute, Mr. Flynn, and you may begin when you are ready.
Again, like I said, follow the money. Big Pharma don't care about us folks, just like they didn't care about coal miners back in the 90s and 2000s. It's all about them making money, and we have to address it at a higher level. I mean, I think it's crazy that Adderall and Ritalin is the same schedule of a drug as cocaine and methamphetamine. When you really think of it like that, I mean, follow the money, folks. I mean, they don't care about us, and they never have. So until we as a society step up against all this over-prescribing of medication, I'm a firm believer in that. So, and I'll always be a firm believer in that that's the true problem. We can have all these prevention programs all day long, but we've got to cut this head off the snake at the higher level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you now have 1 minute to answer the question, and you can begin when you are ready.
All three of these programs that I pitched to you guys, they're all proven programs. They all work. It's all about education, you know. There's always going to be the next drug out there, the fentanyl, these type of things. But if we don't educate our children before they get to that point, then we're in trouble. So, you know, there's always going to be something out there that's going to be snagging our children. This will give them the skills to navigate that and where they won't get on drugs to start with.
30 seconds. Thank you very much, sir. And Mr. Morris, you will have 1 minute. Begin when you are ready.
Yep. I agree with Chief Brooks. Like, we got to get to these children while they're still young, and because I can remember growing up looking at certain adults in my life that I looked up to, and I wanted to be just like them. So, like, I think we got to get them while they're young. And also, I would like to see like a multimedia prevention program involving youth. Because everywhere I go, if I'm sitting at a restaurant or just sitting around the park, I always see the young adults on their phone. They're always on Facebook.
30 seconds remaining.
And texting and all that. So I think we could reach out to them through social media also.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, candidates. It is now time for our third question, and our next question will be asked by Isaac Mullins.
Take this scenario. Estill County officials have created a beautification project to improve the area. How will you, as sheriff, work to ensure that this project will meet its goal and ensure that crime will not deteriorate it?
Candidates, you each will be given 2 minutes to respond to the question. The order will go Mr. Brooks, Mr. Morris, and then Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you will have 2 minutes. Begin when you are ready.
I'll work with the county judge's office, whoever that happens to be after this election, the physical court, to see what the need is and how I can assist. Depending on the project, the use of cameras, lighting, and patrol through these areas would work as a great deterrent. To assist in meeting its goal, the Sheriff's Department should be an active participant with the community to work together in the beautification project. The county belongs to each Estill County, and I'd like to get everyone involved. As people put time and energy into working on a project, they take ownership of the project and will help to protect it because they have a vested interest in it. Work with the Sheriff's Department personnel along with the community and civic organizations such as our youth, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, churches, and other organizations, and show them that the Estill County Sheriff's Department is interested in our communities, and we'll roll up our sleeves and work hand in hand with them to make our county better. This not only shows a different side to law enforcement's role typically, but it lets us build relationships that will help our community in the future.
Thank you very much, sir. Mr. Morris, it is now your turn. You will have 2 minutes, and you may begin when you are ready.
Okay, so the Sheriff's Department, like Chief Brooks said, like we would work with the fiscal court, whatever we needed to do to get the project up and going. And then as far as like, we would do extra patrol in the area. So what I do in preventing, it's worked really good for me. If I get like prowlers in a certain neighborhood and stuff like that, I've got these little wildlife cameras that I stick up. They're all over Ravenna. If you come through Ravenna, you could probably see them. Those things take pictures and send it straight to my phone. It gets a faster response time for me to that area to figure out what's going on. So little things like that, the extra patrol, the cameras, I think that would prevent people from coming in and destroying it. And then anything that the physical court would need, we would work side by side with them to get it took care of.
Thank you very much, Mr. Morris. Mr. Flynn, you will have 2 minutes to answer the question, and you can begin when you are ready.
All right, we'll keep this short and sweet. So, as physical court always knows, I'll do whatever I can to help, no matter what. And just with that being said, several years ago when the new park equipment and all that was being put out at the park, Sheriff's Office actually went out there and was locking the gates up and trying to help, but the fire department was going and unlocking it to try to keep people out of the parks after hours and stuff. And then once they had somebody that moved in the house, we didn't have to do that no more. But lighting, security cameras, actively patrolling these areas. I got a deputy sitting back there. That's where he normally takes his dog out there and throws her the ball around. I take Ruby out there. So we're constantly out there doing that to that type of park. So, I mean, it's depending on what it is, we'll do whatever we can, and that's what everybody knows, that I will do anything I can to help.
Thank you, candidates. You will now be given a 1-minute rebuttal for the question. Mr. Brooks, you will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Morris, and then followed by Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you have 1 minute. Begin when you are ready.
I have no rebuttal.
All right, yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Morris, you have 1 minute. You can begin when you are ready.
Yes, I would just like to add, so we've got a park in Ravenna, and we got cameras up around that. I'm always in and out of that park all the time, and so like the cameras is a big thing for me up there, like catching the people trying to get into businesses. I've actually solved a couple burglaries up there in the last year with the cameras, and then the prowlers, the trespassing and stuff like that. So yeah, I think the cameras is a good thing.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Mr. Flynn, you will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
I'm good. I don't have no rebuttal. Everybody had about the same answer.
Thank you, candidates. It is now time to move on to our next question, question number 4. And our next question will be asked by Sydney Riddle.
What are ways that the Sheriff's Office can work with the Estill County Schools to offer assistance to the at-risk youth?
Candidates, you will each be given 2 minutes to respond to the question. Mr. Morris will answer first, followed by Mr. Flynn, then followed by Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, you have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
All right, I would like to see some kind of program implemented in the school system. I've never heard of it around here, like the Big Brother, Big Sister. Maybe we could get some churches involved and like that, so these at-risk students, like we could pair them up with adult and kind of point them the right direction while they're still young and learning. And any kind of mentor program I would be for. And that's probably the biggest one. Also, so if I charge a juvenile with something in Ravenna, what I do when it goes through the court system, I ask for them to do volunteer work. And usually they come to me, so that gives me a time to spend with them and try to point them the right direction. And so a lot of times they'll get 20, 40 hours of volunteer work, and then they're right with me, and I'm taking them around and trying to point them to the right direction. And I think stuff like that would be very beneficial to these young youths out here.
Thank you, Mr. Morris. Mr. Flynn, you may begin when ready. You have 2 minutes.
All right, so we, a couple years ago, we started participating in the Boys and Girls Ranch at the Kentucky Sheriff Association down at Land Between the Lakes. It's a free camp provided by the KSA. It's dedicated to redirecting the lives of children in Kentucky to build their self-esteem, moral character, and teach them to have respect for themselves as well as law enforcement professionals. That's a free camp. It doesn't cost those kids anything. In 2024, we actually took 14 boys and girls because there were some other counties that couldn't fill their spots, so I ended up filling some more spots and took 9 boys and 5 girls. We also started hosting an annual field day at the park where we interact with the kids. Myself and the deputies go out and we just have a fun day out at the park. Last year it was canceled due to weather. We partner with the chamber, the hospital, and the bank, and several others now with that. So that's already been planned for this year. So now when you put my sheriff hat to the side, My senior quote here when I graduated high school in 2004 was by General George S. Patton. It's, if everyone's thinking alike, someone's not thinking. And I'm a firm believer in that quote, and I'm always trying to think outside the box. As an elected official, you're supposed to be a community leader as well. So that's one of the reasons why myself and one of the deputies opened up Alliance Community CrossFit down here. And then it's got the jiu-jitsu side there. We've partnershiped with one of the counselors at the hospital, the Success Academy, and was able to get a grant through the ASAP program to fund free memberships for any kids that want to come down there to the gym and interact with us, and to, get a through fitness, jiu-jitsu, and it gives them a chance to interact with us on a personal level and outside of uniform. So like I said, that's not the sheriff's office way, but as an elected official, I've got to be a community member, and I am. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you will now have 2 minutes to respond to the question, and you may begin when you are ready.
I believe that the Sheriff's Department should take an active role in our youth and at-risk youth. Many of our at-risk youth do not have anyone to mentor them and show them that they're valuable. I think the Sheriff's Department can and should meet with the school resource officer on a monthly basis to determine at-risk youth. In addition, work closely with the school board to advise them and assist in creating programs that will address the problems associated with youth. And then spend time mentoring, listening, encouraging, and promoting our youth, sponsor activities and even field trips to engage them depending on their individual interests and hobbies they're interested in to help build character. I have this quote on my current business cards from Author John Maxwell. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Being a parent myself, I have mentored various youth throughout my life where one or both parents weren't in their lives. And it's a wonderful feeling to see a kid grow and reach their full potential. It's rewarding for all parties involved and can change the direction of a young person's life if people will take the time to spend time with them in a safe environment, challenging them to be better and giving them the confidence and the tools to accomplish their mission.
Thank you very much, candidates. It is now time for a 1-minute rebuttal for each of you. Mr. Morris will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Flynn, and then followed by Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, you will have 1 minute. Begin when you are ready.
Okay, so I would just like to add something. So like we've got probably the biggest mentor program in this county is the sports system. A lot of these at-risk youth is, a lot of times they're in a single home family, like somebody had mentioned. They can't afford the sports side of it. So I would like to see some kind of program maybe to where we could get some of these at-risk youth into like the sports. And I think if we could get them into something like that, get the team spirit going on and everything, they could learn at a younger age to stay away from the drug stuff and all the other crazy stuff in this world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Morris. Mr. Flynn, you will now have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
Well, speaking of sports, when I put my other hat on, I'm also the middle school girls soccer coach and the high school girls soccer coach. I love working with those girls. I'm always trying to teach them life skills to make themselves a better person in life. Right now, our middle school soccer quote is energy, effort, confidence. Confidence is something that I try to build in each and every one of them. Just for instance, the other day we did a little drill. I made them all one at a time grab the ball and do a throw-in, and then the rest of the team was watching them, and they're like, I'm like, you got to have the confidence to do it. If you can't do it in front of your 15 other players here when the stands are full of people,
30 seconds remaining.
You got to have that confidence. So that's one thing that I try to instill in all the girls, as well as energy and effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, it is now your turn, and you will have 1 minute. Begin when you are ready.
My family and I, we support all of our youth sports. Every child's not interested in sports. That's why I say I think we ought to follow each one of them's habit to see what they're interested in and let them pursue that and encourage them along the way that way.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. It is now time to move on to our fifth and our final question. Our final question will be asked by Jackson Schnarr.
All righty, candidates, for your fifth and final question. What makes you the more qualified candidate for this office over your other contending candidates?
Thank you, Jackson. Candidates, you will each be given 2 minutes to respond to the question. Mr. Flynn will answer first, followed by Mr. Brooks, then followed by Mr. Morris. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Flynn, and you may begin when you are ready.
All right, I'm not going to sit here and bore you tonight with all of my qualifications. If you know me, I don't like to brag or boast about myself, but when you're running for public office, it's just kind of the nature of the beast. You got to kind of talk about different things. And most of you that actually know me knows that I've never actually been to the Department of Criminal Justice training and attended any sort of law enforcement. 7 years ago when I sat up here and ran, I ran on my military experience and told people what I was going to do. In 2019, I hit the ground running. And there's no manual that teaches you how to be sheriff. With that being said, I'm currently in week
30 seconds
15
remaining.
of the DLCJT Academy in class 569. I have 3 more weeks until graduation. So earning that has always been a goal of mine, and I'm about to the end of it. And at 40 years old, I can still pass the peace officer performance standards, and I think that's a standard that should be met until you retire. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flint. Mr. Brooks, you will now have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you're ready.
I have over 20 years of policing experience. I'm a graduate of DLCJT Class 224. I'm a graduate of the Academy of Police Supervision Class number 71. I'm a rapid deployment coordinator that not only qualifies me to teach my current department, but any police department in the tactics and how to respond to active shooter events. I'm a certified alert instructor that allows me to also teach civilian response to active shooter. I'm a proven leader that has held the ranks of patrolman, deputy, sergeant, captain, and chief of police. I've worked with federal and state law enforcement agencies across our state, and I've paid attention to what works and what doesn't work in the continuing fight against crime, and I want to bring that experience to Estill County. I was responsible for the supervision and training of 22 law enforcement officers and was the Central Region Commander for Kentucky State Park Rangers. I not only walk the walk, but I talk the talk. I have received several commendations and awards through my years. To name a few, I've received the ACE Award from the state of Kentucky for going above and beyond in my duties. I received the Governor's Ambassador's Award for Courage from the Governor's Office. I received the Life Saving Award from the Clark County Sheriff's Department, where I'm listed in the American Police Hall of Fame in Titusville, Florida. I've received a Citation of Valor, been designated as a Commonwealth Ambassador from Secretary of State Allison Lundgren Grimes. I'm a proud Kentucky Colonel, as well as receiving the 2016 Supervisor of the Year Award from Kentucky State Parks Ranger Division. I'm a certified CIT officer. It's a program that's associated with improved officer skills and knowledge about mental
30
illness.
seconds remaining.
And last but not least, I'm listed in Marquis' Who's Who in America 2024, a book published annually that was established in 1898 and has been printed annually for 127 years to provide notable professionals and achievers worldwide.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, it is now your turn, and you will have 2 minutes to answer. Begin when you're ready.
So what makes me the more qualified candidate for this office is my lifelong commitment to serving this county and the people will call it home. I began my law enforcement career here in this county and chose to stay and serve here throughout my entire career. This experience has allowed me to build strong relationships within my communities and gain firsthand knowledge of the needs and concerns and values of the people I serve. Over the years, I have dedicated my life not only to law enforcement, but also to emergency services in many capacities, both volunteer and paid. Those experiences have taught me the importance of leadership, accountability, teamwork, and compassion when serving the public during difficult times. I believe my years of hands-on experience, my dedication to public service, and my commitment to this community make me the most qualified candidate for this office. I've spent my career serving the people of this county with integrity and genuine desire to make our community a better place to live. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And it is now time for each candidate to get a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Flynn will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Brooks, and then followed by Mr. Morris. Mr. Flynn, you have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
Folks, I want to keep this short and sweet. Being a reconnaissance Marine taught me about being a silent professional. Silent professional is someone who is highly competent, disciplined, and effective without seeking attention or recognition. I don't do this job for the attention or fame or retirement plan. I do this because I truly care about the community that I'm serving. So I'm not going to sit up here and talk about all this stuff because I am actually out there doing the work that you elected me to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Flynn. Mr. Brooks, you have 1 minute, and you may begin when you are ready.
I've let you guys know my credentials. I too also love this county and want the very best for it. I've got a plan to make it a little better. If you'd remember me in the election, I would appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, you will have 1 minute, and you may begin when you're ready.
So, like, you don't do this job for the money because the money's not there. All of us up here sacrifice so much to do this job. We do it because we love this community and we want to make it safer for our children, grandchildren, as our family. I'm not the guy that's trying to get on the front page of the paper every week, pat myself on the back. If I've ever worked a case for you in the last 20 years, then you know what type of police officer I am. I go after it. I might not solve every one of them, but I'll go
30
after
seconds
it.
remaining.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, candidates. Candidates, you will each be given a 1 minute for a closing statement. Mr. Brooks will close first, followed by Mr. Morris, and then followed by Mr. Flynn.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Brooks,
guys, for
You have 1 minute, sorry.
Thank you guys for coming out to see everybody. Wish everybody the best. Hope you make good, informed decisions when you go to the polls. God bless you. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Mr. Morris, you will have 1 minute and begin when you are ready.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and showing the interest in this next election coming up, because I know it's very important to our community. I hope you remember me next Tuesday when you go to vote. And I'm not the public speaker type of person. Like, a lot of times I wing it and I say what's on the top of my head and what's in my heart. So I hope you guys remember that next Tuesday. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Mr. Flynn, you will have 1 minute, and you may begin when you are ready.
Again, thank you all for coming out, and thank all these students for putting this on. I've made comments several times. You know, we got a lot of adult organizations within this community, but we had students that stepped up and did this. So let's all give them another round of applause. And like I said again, I've never promised anybody anything. I've never promised anybody that I would solve a case, because those are promises you can't make. Some cases are solvable, and some of them are just can't. That's just the nature of it. Any law enforcement officer that you talk to, they will tell you the same thing. So I don't hand out empty promises that I can't make. I just show up to work every day, day or night, and the weekends, and do the work. So I don't have an opponent in the primary here, so I won't be on the ballot until the general election in November, but I'll be seeing more of y'all out there on the campaign trail once this primary is over. Thank you all.
Thank you very much, candidates. And candidates, you may exit the stage to your right. This concludes our debate for the Estill County Sheriff, and thank you guys for your time.
When they come up, do you want somehow turn the microphones? 'Cause I
Are
think
they
they're
off? Yes, sir. No, sir, I have one over there. Are we good to start the next one? Should we wait a second? Okay.
I like that, because when they put it down, it's going to be loud.
So what, keep them off driver?
Because if they put it down on this, it's probably going to be
I'll
loud.
probably tell them. Dude, I don't know if you have time. Our next debate will begin shortly. Sorry for the intermission. It's back, I guess. I don't know.
Where's Begos? Begos is in the bathroom.
Who's asking our first question? You are, so we're good there. Where is everybody, dude? Where's everybody?
I feel like going because it's dancing.
I did tell them. I did tell them it was after everyone. Tell what? They should definitely have a bathroom back here. Dude. All right, it is now time to prepare for our next debate, and our next debate is for the Estill County Judge Executive candidates. Candidates, please come forward. It should go Mr. Williams on the very left, Mr. Browning in the middle, and then Mr. Watson on the very right. Thank you, candidates. We have him on the stand, Ms. Sheffield. Candidates, you will be given 1 minute to introduce yourselves. Mr. Williams will go first, followed by Mr. Browning, then followed by Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
I'm Kevin Williams. Most of you know me throughout the county. I've lived here all my life. I've volunteered since I was a teenager on various fire departments and a rescue squad. I've came up through the system. I'm community-minded, and I've always wanted to see this community advance and move forward. There's a lot to do. We're playing catch-up with the surrounding counties, but with a physical court and our other agencies working together in the community, we can make that happen.
30 seconds.
So remember, I'm number 2 on the ballot. I'm in the middle, but I'm on the end of that. But I appreciate your vote and support on May 19th. I feel like I'm very qualified to lead this county forward, and let's roll on.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, there's a switch on your microphone, turn on. Sorry, I forgot to tell you guys that. Mr. Browning, you will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight to this forum. I think it speaks volumes that this many people are involved and curious and wanting to know more about the people that are running for office in this county. I also want to thank the Y Club and everybody that made this night possible. It's great to see these young people out tonight wanting to get more involved in the political system and understanding how that works, and I think that's great of them to show that kind of interest. For those of you that don't know, my name is Kelby Browning. I'm running for County Judge Executive, and I'm here for that purpose, but I'm also here as a husband, a father, a business owner here locally, and someone that's concerned for the future of this county and what's coming for this next generation. So we're hoping you can get some information tonight that may help you in your decision-making process next week. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Browning. And Mr. Watson, you will now be given 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
I'm Donnie Watson. I've been county judge. This is my 4th term. I've got the experience, the knowledge, the know-how to run the office, to run it efficiently, to keep the county out of debt, to pay the bills, and I'm ready to serve you another term, and I'm here to listen to you, or for you to listen to us. And with a crowd like this, you can change the election.
30 seconds remaining. Thank you very much, Mr. Watson, and thank you, candidates. And we will now begin the debate. Our first question will be asked by Isaac Mullins.
What do you believe should be the 3 main goals for Estill County in the next 5 years? What are some ways your job as Judge Executive will work to accomplish these goals?
Thank you, Isaac. Mr. Browning will answer first, followed by Mr. Watson, and then followed by Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, you will have 2 minutes, and you may begin when you are ready.
So the 3 main goals that I would have moving forward this office if elected, and I've not been shy about a lot of these as this process has been going, and even for the last couple of years as we've kicked this around. The number one thing on my mind is what's here for the youth. I want to ensure there's more opportunities for them, not just while they're children, but after they grow up and they graduate, that we can possibly keep them here. So I want to create more economic growth, things that we can stabilize, work with the partners and legislator with that, different programs to try to find those opportunities that may want to come to Estill County. And with the developing those youth opportunities, there's lots of aspects out there that can help with that. There's tons of grant opportunities. That's a word you're going to hear tonight a lot. There's grants for a little bit of everything out there that you can think of, and we want to pursue those as much as possible to help facilitate the growth in this county for especially programs like youth, public services, things of that nature. And the third thing I would say is public safety. We think of public safety and we think of emergency services, which is a huge part of that, and we want to help ensure that we have what we need in those emergency services and those departments. But when I say public safety, I also mean that goes for things like infrastructure or roads. If you don't have safe roads, good roads, you don't have a safe community to start with. So that goes all the way down, same thing, public spaces, safer public spaces, working with law enforcement, trying to make sure those areas keep a safe environment so that young families and people can go and enjoy those things. But
30 seconds remaining.
Another thing, and it's kind of a fourth thing, but I think without this, none of the rest of it really matters, is I want to restore public trust in local government here locally. I think without transparency and accountability and that trust, we can't do our jobs anyway as elected officials. And I know there's been rocky times, not necessarily this administration, but past. And I want to try to help bring some of that public trust back in as someone you can put your trust in to help you as the citizens attain what we can have here in Estill County.
Thank you very much, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, you will now have 2 minutes to answer the question, and you may begin when you are ready.
I will, excuse me, I will continue the teamwork that we've enjoyed these past almost 8 years now. We've worked well with the cities of Irvin, Ravenna, all elected officials, and I will continue to do that. You can't get anything done if you don't have teamwork. I will continue to work on the infrastructure. I will work with the Water District, IMU, and the Highway Department to see that our roads are kept up and that we have assisted Irvin with when they have worked on grants. And we've got a lot of things going on right now that I want to see finished. We've got the park. We need to do more down at the park. We've got things going that we really need to finish. We need to work on we're working on an animal shelter. We've got plans in place to build a new animal shelter. And it takes time to do these things. You don't snap your finger and just turn around. You've got to work on those projects, and it's a process.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you will have 2 minutes, and you may begin when you are ready.
You're going to hear a lot of repetitive stuff tonight, a lot of the same goals by each one of us. Some of us can pull it off, and some of us won't be able to. But we have got to work on getting situations remedied to help our youth. We've also got to work on our infrastructure. It's continuous project to work on infrastructure. And then we've got to get some stability in our county government. We have got to maintain and get pride back into our county. Our counties around us are just blowing our doors off, and I've used that statement before. But they've set up models of how to grow their counties at a slow pace and not be just overwhelming the taxpayer and burdening the taxpayer. That's the last thing we want to do. But we've got to get down and sit together as a team of organizations, our school system, and all that, and create these goals. Because it's about our future generation. It's about now. Getting people involved, back involved in our community, and moving this community forward. So we're all going to sit here and talk about the same things, and we're going to have different ideas, but my idea is teamwork, and I've been parts of teams. I've been teams in fire department and volunteer organization, and yes, public safety is near and
30 seconds.
Near and dear to my heart, but also our youth. I've got a nephew sitting back here, and he went through the struggles in this county of not having a lot to do and going out of town to play ball. So we've got to concentrate on our parks. We've got to concentrate on these kids and their generation. So, you know, our goals are unlimited. We just got to have a plan together to implement them. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Each candidate will be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Browning will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Watson, and then followed by Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, you will have 1 minute, and you may begin when you are ready.
No, I agree. Like I said, you're going to hear a lot of the same stuff tonight. It's, and I've mentioned before, different groups I've met with. I like to think the three of us on this stage agree on more than we don't. We're on the same side of the page at the end of the day. I like to think we're on the same team when this is all over with. Like I said, with this, there's a lot of things that go into it. It's not just me. It's not just either one of these men if elected. It's all of you. It's this whole community. There's lots of little groups that do things behind the scenes in this town that don't necessarily get the recognition. And as part of what we would like to see is a kind of a long-term committee for goals, kind of get some of those group leaders from each one of those small groups together. We get our heads together, we think of what may help this community with those that have been involved in it, and see what we can get done here in the county. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, it is now your turn for a rebuttal, and you will have 1 minute, and you may begin when you're ready.
We're already doing all those things that's been mentioned. We have teamwork, we're working on the park, we're working on various other things, and we put a playground down at the park. We have paid all the bills off. When we took office, the county was badly in debt from a loan that had been borrowed in 2018, the 6 months before we took office. We paid that off in 7 years, $1,400,000 debt, and it's paid off.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you will now be given 1 minute.
Oh, there it is.
Right there.
I'd like to rebuttal Mr. Watson there. I was appointed county judge in 2018 to serve out the 18-19 term, and things weren't pretty. And working with Department of Local Government in Frankfort continuously and having 31 meetings, court meetings, and being transparent, the best plan we had was to create some cash flow. And we had to do things that were very unpopular, but we borrowed $1.5 million to combine all of our debt service and everything. We set that up on 10 years. Instead of paying out $77,000 plus a month, we paid out 12. We created cash flow to get the county rolling. So I'm happy that he paid it off. I don't know what he has to show for it, but you know, paying off that debt early, that's fine. But for the last 7 years, where has that money gone? I mean, they bought another building.
I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, but your time has elapsed. It is now time to move on to our second question. Thank you, candidates. And our next question will be asked by Sydney Riddle.
What do you believe is the most misunderstood responsibility of a county judge executive?
Thank you, Sydney. Candidates will be given 2 minutes to respond to the question. Mr. Watson will answer first, followed by Mr. Williams, and followed by Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, you will have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
Most people, or a lot of people, think that you can just snap your finger and solve a problem or fix a road or fix whatever the issue is, but it doesn't happen that way. When you work on a road, you've got a process you go through, just like potholes. You know, you've got to fill out work orders. You've got to when you resurface a road, you've got that the court has to approve that. There's a big process you go through. So many times people come in and think you can just turn around, solve a problem, and it's all done. It's not that way. So there's many factors in about everything that we do as county judge.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you will answer next, and you will have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
Okay, I think the question was what is asked of a county judge, or what people ask you the most, and what is a county judge? Well, the question I've always been asked serving as a magistrate county judge is, the county judge, can you get me out of fine? Are you a judicial position? So on and so forth. So, you know, we have potential legislators that are looking for election in here and are here tonight. And one thing that we've always talked about is the title of county judge needs to be changed. When you put that county judge in there, they think we're a district judge or a circuit judge or whatever. No, we're like a CEO of the county. We're like a county administrator. We run a business, and we really have got to get our legislators to address this. A lot of other states, and we're one of the only states across America that are called county judges. Most have a different title. To make more clarity, so when you're out in public or you're out campaigning, you can move on to other stuff, but you get asked that question a lot. It's like, are you going to reduce those fines? Or are you going to fine me for this or that? And you have to sit there and explain to them, no, I'm the county judge. I help run the county with the fiscal
30
court.
seconds.
So that's one of the most asked questions that I get, and it's something I think needs to be looked at in Frankfort down the road, and it would be helpful to all of us.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, it is now your turn, and you will be given 2 minutes to answer the question.
No, as Kevin said, and I almost thought he was looking at my paper while he was reading, but I looked over and made sure he wasn't. No, that's a question I get asked at 5 out of 10 doors that I knock on, is either what even is a county judge executive, or like he said, if you get in there, do you think you can help my little cousin who's in trouble? Do you think you could help me get out of a ticket? These type of deals. There is no judicial power. Those powers were removed in the 70s. Like I said, the title has stayed around. They added to it with executive. It's still a confusing title. Like I said, I would hate to put a number on it, but I would easily say it's the majority of voters don't really know the aspects of county judge executive. And like I said, it's a lot of it over your fiscal responsibilities. You know, like I said, you're more the chief executive officer of the county. It's more how you run with the help of the fiscal court and your magistrates. You're to oversee funding, the administration of funds, your fiscal officer presiding over the fiscal court, oversee your local departments, things like that. And it's, like I said, Donnie, you said, you know, you're expected to be everything to everybody, kind of. And I think that's a misunderstood thing, is that you can't be everything to everybody all the time. It's a responsibility that we take on openly as candidates, that you do ask more of us, and that we expect you to ask more of us. But that doesn't always mean that it can be done or that it's what you need out of this position. Sometimes it's going to be from a different office, and hopefully we can facilitate you in that right direction. But as he said, I spend more time than not at these doors explaining that, as opposed to actually explaining plans and visions and goals for this county. So I agree. I would like to see that changed in the future, but I got a feeling it's going to be around for a while. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And each candidate will now be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Watson will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Williams, and followed by Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, you will have 1 minute, and you may begin when you are ready.
I agree we have a lot of people come in the office wanting to know where the, sorry about that. I agree. We have a lot of people stop by the office wanting to know who to pay a fine, or they do misunderstand what a county judge does. So that's my answer. They want to know about a fine or about a court meeting or things of that nature, which we have nothing to do with.
30 seconds. You have 30 seconds remaining. Thank you, Mr. Watson. And Mr. Williams, it is now your turn for your 1-minute rebuttal, and you may begin when you're ready.
I don't really have anything else to say on that. It is a confusing title. It is the most asked question, and I hope that our state legislators are sitting in here hear that, and maybe they can start to work on that. It will take quite a while, I'm sure, to get everybody on board and get it to a committee meeting and get it to the full legislature for a vote, but I think it's something that we can work toward. It would really help any of the three of us
30 seconds.
daily having that addressed in the future. So that's all I have on that.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, it is now your turn for your 1-minute rebuttal, and you may begin when you are ready.
I don't have a rebuttal. I think we pretty well covered that.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Thank you, candidates. It is now time to move on to our next question, question number 3. Our next question will be asked by Jackson Schnarr.
Candidates, question number 3. What are the biggest obstacles you will face in ensuring revenue will be brought into Estill County? And what are ways that you will work to bring revenue into Estill County and make it stay?
Thank you, Jackson. And candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to respond to the question. Mr. Williams will answer first, followed by Mr. Browning, and then followed by Mr. Watson.
Well, it goes back to teamwork again. You know, we've got to build a bond with our organizations, our school system, with the tech center, and just stay focused, not lose our focus. Come up with one plan, have one voice to approach Frankfort and D.C. about economic opportunities. We've got to create a tourism opportunity that would really benefit our county. The smaller counties around us, again, I go back to that. I've met with the judges. I know most of them in Powell County, Wolf, Lee County, and Owsley. They've taken a different approach. They don't want to be a county with one big employer and then have failure. They want to have a plan that promotes small business, retains small business, has a future for these kids upon graduation that are work ready to make a difference in the community and stay here. And along with that, we have to do better as a county, offering opportunities, finishing parks, open more venues, have more things going on in our county so they don't drive out of county to spend their hard-earned money. We spend our hard-earned money. Keep it local. So we have a lot of, everybody says Estill County, it's a beautiful, beautiful county. Why isn't there more going on? Because we don't have a structured plan to do it.
30 seconds.
And we've got to work towards that goal of all of us getting our minds together and work toward one common goal to get this county moving on and rolling on again.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, you will answer next, and you will be given 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
So in what ways will we work to bring revenue into Estill County? I think a lot of these things we have to think outside of the box. Things that brought revenue into Estill County 30 and 40 years ago don't exist anymore. The railroad has since gone by, the coal wash has since gone by, and we weren't looking far enough down the road to think where will revenue come from when these things are gone. So, like I said, I think we're going to think outside the box. Every small town feels the same pressure we do, and so we're competing with those other small towns for these different types of industries that we would want to bring in. Naturally, we want to bring in more jobs, more industry. That should be one of the top priorities. That's one of the hardest things to bring in, and if it's an infrastructure issue that we don't have the water or the sewer, then we start on that. We do whatever it takes to take that first step to get us there. But a lot of those things that are outside the box, said I've not been shy about the plans for a youth sports complex. People see that as a place for kids to play, and that's 100% absolutely its first and main purpose. But the second thing is the revenue that is made from weekend sports at this point is astronomical. Just in E-Town, my buddies out that way, they opened a 12-field facility for baseball and softball. In 10 years, it's generated over $150 million to E-Town's economy, opening restaurants, hotels, businesses all around it. Now, naturally, we wouldn't do 12 fields, and we're not E-Town. If you do 4 fields, you have to take down to $50 million. If we're pessimistic and say, well, we're smaller than E-Town, let's call it $1 to $2 million a year over that amount of time. That's huge for local business in Estill County. That can grow Estill County's small business. I'm a small business owner. I'm in touch with lots of small business owners. You take a few $1,000s extra on the weekends and theirs, that's the difference in them keeping the doors open and closing up shop altogether. So we have to think outside the box and try to bring in more revenue streams that maybe we haven't pursued before. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, you will now be given 2 minutes, and you may begin when you're ready.
We need to promote what we've got. We've got the river. We've got a park at Kentucky down on off of Dry Ridge. We've got the park at Ravenna by the hydro plant. We've got the old furnace. We've got Fitchburg furnace. We've got a lot of beautiful scenery around here. We've got a lot of things we can do, a lot of things we're working on. There's things in the process right now that if it materializes, it will bring things in. And we can't always do what we want to do because we're not big as Lexington. We can't afford what Lexington does or what Nicholasville or some of those other places. We have to live within our means. And that's the only way we're going to survive. We can't we can't live like a big county. We have to live within our means, and that's what we're doing.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Each candidate will be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Williams will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Browning, and then followed by Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you may begin when you are ready. You have 1 minute.
Well, my rebuttal is this. We live in a great society, America, and we have to be risk takers. And like Kelby said, I've worked outside the box. I'm a business owner 2 times, been successful. I've made decisions based on numbers and whatever, but, looking through the county budget right now, there's contingent appropriations all through it. There's money in the budget, and why it's not being spent more on our infrastructure and our parks and our youth and promoting our
30
county.
seconds.
That's something we'll dive into more. But we do have a beautiful county. I'm all about this community. Getting to Frankfort, begging and pleading with our legislators, and I will start, if elected on May 19th, I will start on June 1st on my own, putting a plan together and a program together for this county to make it roll on.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, it is now your turn. You will have 1 minute, and you may begin when you are ready.
I agree that we are not Lexington. We're not a lot of these larger communities. We don't have the consistent revenue streams that they have to do things. However, there's things that we can do, processes we can take. There's a plethora of grants from as small as you can think to as large as you can think. In 5 minutes, you can find a $400,000 grant for parks and recreation for almost anything you want. They're out there. They're everywhere. But like I said, we're not Lexington. However, just because we have something doesn't mean we can't have more. My wife will tell you that I'm not a content person. It's probably the quality that she dislikes the most about me. But I think in this position, you can't get comfortable. You can't get content, like I said, because we need growth. We need it consistently. And you cannot settle in, because in business, if you don't go forward, you go backwards as default. So we want to see this go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, it is now your turn, and you will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
Well, I agree with Kelby. If you get in that position, you won't be comfortable. You won't relax. You will always be called upon, no matter where you go. Anywhere you go, you see somebody needing something. And you just have to deal with it as you come in contact with it. And anyway, we're working on things, and things happen, you know.
30 seconds remaining.
It'll take time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Watson. It is now time to move on to question 4. This question will be asked by Darvik Stevens.
How do you plan on keeping young people from leaving the county after graduation? Are there certain programs or industries that you would like to see implemented for young people? If so, how would you implement these?
Thank you, Darvik. Candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to answer this question. The order will go Mr. Browning, then followed by Mr. Watson, then followed by Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, you have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
So of the questions we'll be asked tonight, this is the one that hits the closest to home for me. With a 9-year-old and a soon-to-be a 6-year-old this coming weekend, nothing matters more to me than the future of this county and what the future holds for them. I've told everybody the main thing that I want for them is to be successful, be happy in life, and I want them to stay here in Estill County at the point that they become adults, but I don't want to be the only reason they stay here. As of right now, the majority of kids, as they graduate high school, they don't see opportunity here. They don't see a purpose in staying here. If it's not for family, they check out and they leave, they head down the road. Most of them never come back. They come back at advanced age just to be saying that they're home, and that's it. So this is, like I said, the closest one to my heart. I think young people leave because of a lack of opportunities. I think it's that simple. Now, like I said, that's not always the easiest thing to solve. A lot of those are jobs. Like I said, jobs is the hardest thing to bring into a small town. But we can work at that. You have to start working at it. I don't care how big the apple is, you have to take a bite, and one bite at a time is the only way you're going to get it eaten. So no matter what the obstacle is, you have to start on it. And like I said, if that's an infrastructure issue, it's an infrastructure issue. We work on that. If it's water, let's see how we can get that there to create jobs so that we can keep these young people here. Let's create these youth services that we've mentioned so that they can see themselves raising a family here. You know, if I didn't stay for family and if I just didn't love this county, I wouldn't be here probably. But I love this place. I want to see it
30
more.
seconds.
I want to see my family stay here. But when these young people get out, they're going to stop and think, can I envision myself raising a family here? And we have to create an environment where they can see that future for not just themselves, but for their families.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, is now your turn. You will have 2 minutes,
Well,
and you can begin when ready.
Keeping our children in town has always been an issue, all down through the years. When you graduate, when you have about 100 people, 100 graduates every year, it's hard to keep all those in town. You're not going to do it. You can't get enough jobs in town to keep those in town. And many of them want to leave. Many of them want to stay here. Some look for jobs and some don't. I mean, you know how it's been all down through the years. But we've lost Southeast Coal. We've lost the railroad. The crusher, rock crusher, the oil fields, all these jobs, we had hundreds of jobs in this county at one time, and they've all gone. And as we work and try to build our infrastructure, make sure that our sewer system is up to par, that it's not running at capacity, that our water system is not running at capacity. If we don't have those things over capacity, and something we do get a chance to get a business, we won't get it. Because all those systems all those things have to have water, they have to have sewer, and that's the only way you're going to get them. So we're working on things. We've talked to several
30 seconds.
Different businesses, and we haven't been successful yet, but we're working on them.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you will now have 2 minutes to answer the question. Begin when ready.
Again, I'll go back to teamwork and having a plan. You know, we've got a tech center here that has been a hope of this county for many, many years, and it, finally happened. We've got to take more opportunity with that. We've got to incorporate into our small business and have more hands-on training. We've got to create more entrepreneurship here in this county. These kids graduating high school now, I run into them all the time because I've always got something tore up. The Beetle Lyles and the Charlie Bill Muncies and all these guys that do electrical work and do plumbing work, they're phasing out or said they're going to retire. I try to encourage kids to look at that. A lot of kids don't want to go on to college, and a lot of families don't want to incur that debt. But with our tech center and on-the-job training, we can create a whole lot more opportunities to keep our children here when they graduate. It's really something we've got to work on. We've got to be at meetings. We've got to, and everybody knows I'm big on when the session's in Frankfort, we got to be there. Our attendance can't be zero to get things done in this county. We've got to go down there and work hard for this county. And also, prior to the session, we've got to have a plan in place. I keep going back to a plan, so when our legislators come to us, that we don't stumble and mumble and not have a plan of what our needs are for our community and for our generations to come. So, I refer back to plan because I've always been a team player. I've played team sports, and that's just the kind of way I kind of roll in life. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Each candidate will now be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Browning will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Watson, and then Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, you have 1 minute and can begin when you are ready.
I don't have anything to add.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, you have 1 minute and you can begin when you are ready.
I don't have anything.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. And Mr. Williams, you will have 1 minute and you can begin when you are ready.
I'm good. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Our fifth and our final question for this debate will be asked by Haven Reynolds.
What makes you the more qualified candidate for this office over your opponents?
Candidates will be given 2 minutes to respond to this question. Mr. Watson will answer first, followed by Mr. Williams, then followed by Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, you may begin when you are ready.
I know county government. I know how it operates. I know how the budget works. I've been involved in the budget and the county process for this will be 16 year, and I know how to. I know who to meet, who to talk to at Frankfort, all the different agencies, and I know how to communicate with people. And we've got a good working relationship with the state, with all those we work with, and we can succeed. And I know I've got the knowledge to. We paid the debts off that were left on us, and the county's in the best financial shape it's ever been in, and we're ready to move forward. We couldn't move forward. We had the debts that were hanging over our head until we paid those off, and we just paid those off last year, the $1,400,000-500,000, and so the county's financially in good shape, and we're ready to move forward.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, you will now have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
I've been around this county for a long time, and again, I may sound repetitive, but I've been involved in the process for many, many years. I've given a lot to this county, to our youth, in 2 different organizations. I've served in a lot of organizations, so I've been involved the whole time, since a little teen, chasing fire trucks and rolling hose. I go back, we've just got to work together as a community. We've got to be transparent. We've got to hear your all's concerns. We've got to have more than probably 1 physical court meeting a month, have work sessions where we can get input from the community. We need to have physical court meetings when all of us can try to attend, maybe rotate them, have them at 7 o'clock for people that work all day. And a lot of that is just thinking outside the box and giving opportunity for citizens to have more input. I'm experienced. I've ran 2 businesses. I've ran this county as a business for a year, so actually 3. I've dealt with payrolls and workforces of 36 to 60 people, so I know how benefits work. I know when we need to up the game a little bit and take some risk. And I want to really address this debt thing because it really bothers me. We took a bunch of debt service through the advisement of KCO and Department of Local Government and put it into one note and quit paying out for a bunch of stuff, $77,000 or $80,000 worth, and combined it into one payment of $12,000 over 15 years. It freed up cash flow, and so it freed up money for the county. They're riding off our coattails. I haven't seen anything done with all this $3 or $4 million sitting in surplus.
I'm sorry, but your time has elapsed, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, it is now your turn, and you have 2 minutes to answer the question.
So what I believe makes me qualified for this job, though I'm the only one on this stage that has not held this office before, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing as you look at the political landscape, not just here but around the country. I think sometimes a new blood and new vision is what's needed in counties. My experience, I was fortunate enough to receive a scholarship through the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, where they sent me to school, paid for my engineering school, and worked for them for 10 years. I gained a lot of experience, not just through infrastructure and those things with roads, bridges, and whatnot, which is vitally important to the county, and one of our biggest things we spend on and spend our time on in the county. But also on those projects that we would manage, you are fiscally responsible for each line item, sometimes dozens to hundreds of line items on multi-million-dollar projects. So I think that translates pretty directly into this office, where you're fiscally managing different things, different pay items through different offices. And I think I also bring a unique perspective to this race, being a local business owner and a husband and father of young kids, being involved in the community through all the different sports aspects, things through church, things with our youth that we've always took part of. I think having that perspective and being on the ground with these families and with you citizens gives me a perspective to see things kind of through a different light and maybe a new lens, and maybe the way things have always been done aren't necessarily the way things need to be done. So just bringing in that fresh perspective, and I know to a lot of people my age is an issue for them. I'm not going to hide my age. I'm 36 years old. I can believe that can be an asset to me at the same time. I have plenty of energy. I'm ready to go. I'm relentless when I want something. And so I plan on hopefully putting that to work for you all as the voters. Thank you.
Thank you, candidates. Each candidate will now be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Watson will go first, followed by Mr. Williams, and then followed by Mr. Browning.
Well, we were paying about $15,000 a month interest on that loan, plus the payment. And by paying it off early, we saved the county about $40,000. And it was a loan that was set up for 20 years. We paid it off in about 7. And we've been very frugal with the county's money. We've been transparent.
30 seconds.
Nothing's hid. It's all open. All public record.
Thank you very much. Mr. Williams, you will now be given 1 minute for your rebuttal.
Yes, it is public record, and I would encourage anybody to go to the county clerk's office and pull up 18-19 fiscal budget, the minutes of 31 meetings. I see Kim back there smiling, saying, "Oh, Lord." Also, I've got a lot of energy, and I've spent a lot of energy, but I feel great, and I want to see this county move forward. I think with my vision and my contacts and my experience in our government, I can make us roll on. Also, too, most grants, you've got to have 30% match. There's tons of grants out there, but you got to work on them, and they're not given overnight. The grant process takes 2 to 5 years in most situations. I mean, look at FEMA grants, and people are still waiting on FEMA stuff. So, yes, grants, will work on them, but don't expect them to happen in 12 months or 24 months. Grants are a long-term deal.
I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, but your time has elapsed. Mr. Browning, it is now your turn for a 1-minute rebuttal. Begin when ready.
I agree. Like he said, grants are a long-term thing. Most things in local government and government period are long-term plans. Things don't happen overnight. However, the effort does and should. You should never have to wonder where the effort's at. You should be able to see that. I would hope to be transparent with you all as to where that is, given status updates on these things. Like I said, the grants, said you're not going to stop hearing about that. These other small towns, they go after them in droves, they get them in droves. Towns similar to our size have received them at exponential rates compared to ours. We need to go after those. We should apply for 5 a quarter. I mean, these should be numbers. If you don't get them, you don't get them. Sometimes you swing and you don't hit it. That's okay. I'd rather be strike out swinging than watching strike 3 go by. So that's all I have on that.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. It is now time for each candidate's closing statement. You will each get a 1-minute closing. Mr. Williams will close first, Mr. Browning will close second, and last but not least is Mr. Watson. Mr. Williams, begin when ready.
As I said a while ago, I'm kind of work ready. I'm ready to roll. I'm ready to get this county moving. I've got vision. I've had things on my mind for years. It aggravates me when people talk about our county and say it's a beautiful county, but I'll just be quite blank. I say, what the hell is going on in Estill County? We need to put a plan together, have one website so people can link down from all over and figure out what's going on in Estill County, where our restaurants are, where our opportunities are for weekend activities. And yes, we have got to work on all of our parks, from the Kentucky River Park to Kiwanis, our Veterans Park, Fitchburg Furnace. Those things bring people an opportunity to our county and investors. And that's just where I want to be, and I think that's where you want to be. Let's roll on.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Mr. Browning, you will now go next. You have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
I would like to thank all of you again for being here. I'd like to especially thank my wife, my kids. They've sacrificed a lot through this process. It's our 14th anniversary. I'm sure this isn't how she envisioned spending our 14th anniversary, so I'm sorry about that, but we're almost there. My kids did come in late from a soccer game. They probably don't want to stand up, but they're back in the right corner with their grandparents. I've told everybody as I'm out on this, whenever a candidate comes to my door, somebody comes to my shop, I ask them simply, why are you interested in this? Those two back there are my reason why. I'm not shy about that. Their future and the future of other young people in this county is what drives me. Every day when I wake up and see their faces, it pushes me to go a little harder and a little farther. And I humbly ask for your vote next Tuesday or this Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with early voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Browning. Mr. Watson, it is now your turn. You will have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
FEMA grants are a long-term thing to get. But we get grants every year. We get grants for the senior center. We get grants for roadside cleanup. We get grants for 911. Get those things yearly. A lot of small grants, and we're continually working on those grants. And I will continue to do so until I leave office, whenever that might be. And I might say, Kelby, you did an outstanding job. I'm just being honest. I thought he did. But anyway, that's all I got.
Thank you, Mr. Watson. This concludes our debate for Estill County Judge Executive. Thank you, candidates, for your time. You can exit to the right, and we will now take a quick break before our next.
I'm getting food. That's it. It's an intermission.
What'd you say? We are going to start our next debate soon as everyone starts to find their seats.
Please take your seats and be gross.
Braden Gross. Take your seats.
If everyone please settle down as we are about to begin our next debate.
Where did everybody go?
I don't know.
Everybody came here for ticket.
Should I gavel? Like, please see the end of time. Should I gavel and play it safe, please? Isaac, should I gavel and play please see the end of time?
Yes, please.
No. Please. Lincoln,
Okay.
say it again, Lincoln. I didn't do it.
Please find your seats. We are about to begin. Some of them are mixed up, yes. I don't know the exact order Mr. Capitol put them in, but they are mixed up. We cut it down to 5. Yes, sir.
They're about everyone's.
Okay. There you go. Okay. We're going to let them sit down.
Please say, just say.
Okay. Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And our next debate is for the Kentucky State Representative candidates. Our Democratic candidate, David Johnson, who will face the winner of the Republican primary, will now give a 5-minute speech. Mr. Johnson, please come forward. Mr. Johnson, you will have 5 minutes to give your speech.
Thank you so much. They asked me if I was going to start out with a joke, and I really don't have any jokes or anything, but I almost face planted over here on the floor over there, so that would have been funny, and you all would have got a good laugh out of that. But good evening, my name is David Johnson, and it is truly a pleasure to be back here in Estill County. I do want to say thank you to the organization for hosting this such a debate. It is absolutely phenomenal work that you all have done and the crowd that you have turned out tonight. Not long ago, I sat in this same auditorium at opening day as a teacher in Estill County Public Schools. I have spent some time in this county with the hardworking people who call it home. My grandparents and my dad are all from Irvin. My Uncle Hubert and his wife Pearl Johnson, she was also a school teacher here in Estill County. I taught at Estill County Middle School, 6th grade social studies, and I now teach 4th grade special education in Winchester. Some of my former students actually go to this high school, but most of my students still attend Estill County Middle in the 8th grade. As this campaign has progressed, families are telling me their stories. They're telling me of what's going on, and they have told me that they are hurting financially. Things have not gotten better over the past several years, and families are struggling. Utility rates are high. Car and homeowner insurance premium rates are higher than ever before. And plus the price of food, including hamburger beef, is also expensive. Prices on everything has went up and up. People are working harder, especially here in Estill County and throughout the 91st House District, and they are doing everything they are told, but still they are sitting at their kitchen table wondering how far their paycheck will really go. I am not a career politician. I am a public school teacher, as I have said. I do live paycheck to paycheck. I do not have deep pockets, and I am not endorsed by any lobbyists between here and Frankfort. I will say this tonight in my short speech, that Kentucky does not have a people problem. We are actually good folks working hard to make ends meet. The problem that Kentucky has is a General Assembly priority problem. Politicians, some here, some are not here, mostly some are not, politicians in the General Assembly spent money on raises for themselves and new offices, but chose not to fund the new middle school here in Estill County. We have the extra funds to do so, and leadership failed to provide that service. Lots of people in this county, as I look out here tonight, have worked so hard on this project and deserve more respect. The General Assembly decided to put a Band-Aid on the problem. The budget is 2 years from now, so there's a lot of questions that remain. I'm proud to say that I was the first person in this race to speak loud and clear against House Bill 500 that would have raised health insurance premiums for teachers, classified staff, which is bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and office administrators. To be a leader is someone who is not afraid to speak out, and sometimes you got to speak out against your party leadership. I believe that we need a General Assembly in Frankfort to be fighting for us and not lobbyists. Before running for office, I was a diabetic advocate working on real legislation that helped Kentucky families save money on diabetic medication in our state. Thanks to the support of Governor Beshear and an overwhelmingly majority of House members, including State Representative Bill Wesley, who supported that bill, the bill actually became law. People might tell you that things aren't bad. However, we can see for ourselves. I ask you this: if policy is working, then why are we struggling? I thank you for your time tonight. May God bless you, and may God bless the people across the 91st House District. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. Please, a round of applause. Voters, Mr. Johnson will be running against one of our next two candidates in the fall election. We will now begin our next debate, the state representative debate. Here are our two nominees for the Republican state representative. Each candidate will now be given 1 minute to introduce themselves. Mr. Billings will go first, followed by Mr. Hensley. You have 1 minute, Mr. Billings. Begin when ready.
Hello, my name's Darrell Billings, and with the exception of a stay in the military, I've spent my entire life in the 91st District, living and working in the 91st District. I'm married to my wife, Jennifer, for 40 years. We celebrate our 40th wedding anniversary in July. She is a 30-year public school teacher. I grew up a son of a 25-year police department veteran, a law enforcement veteran. My mother, who's with us here tonight, also is a 33-year public school system employee. All three brothers and their families still reside in the 91st District. Two of those are public school teachers as well. So I understand the needs of the 91st District. I've never left here. I have no intention of leaving here, and most likely will probably die here. But I look forward to serving as your next state representative in the next session.
Thank you, Mr. Billings. Mr. Hensley, you will now have 1 minute, and you may begin when you are ready.
Thank you. Thank you for the Y Club, and it's just been an outstanding night. I am Jeff Hensley. I was born here. I was raised here. I went to high school, and I graduated here in 1979. I know Estill County from the back roads to every road. And I'm going to try to explain to you what happened to me after I graduated here in 1979. And I know I only have 2 minutes per question, but I'm going to let you know what my life's been about and why I'm seeking this candidacy, the leadership it'll take, the trials and errors I've been through with life. There's a lot behind me, but I'm going to bring it with me to take us forward. That's why I'm running for this position. There's a lot of knowledge I have. There's a lot of leadership I've had, and I've been gone for 10 years. But what I learned in that 10 years from this county is going to be shown loudly. May not be able to show it all tonight, but I can tell you what, when I get to Frankfurt, I'll show you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Billings, or Mr. Hensley, but your time has elapsed. Thank you, Mr. Hensley. Thank you, candidates. It is time for our first question, and our first question will be asked by Jackson Starr.
All righty, candidates. What is one item in the budget that you would fund to its fullest extent? If you have one, why would you fund it to its fullest extent?
Mr. Hensley will answer first, followed by Mr. Billings. Mr. Hensley, you can begin when you're ready, and you have 2 minutes.
Okay, one item without fund to its full extent would be growth for education. The future is in our education, especially K through 12. I'm not going to take any lackadaisical viewpoint of that or opinion of that. That's what I would fund completely. We need to start with the SEEK, make sure it's completely funded. You know, excellent in education is what we need. We don't need to be taking a back seat to it. We need to fully fund that. We need to go, except for a few things that I think that we should be in through the K through the 4th grade, we need to get a little bit back to the basics. We need to set some standards that's really going to be able to help our children grow more in the K through 4. Education is the biggest part of our future. And I think that when we look at the educational budget, I think it's 38% of our Kentucky budget. We need to get going on it quick. We need to think out of the box about it. We need to get Kentucky back below 40. In the 40s is where we are right now in our educational program, on the grade level program, on where we stand in the United States. So we need to really affect the kids with quick learning, on the back to the basics, get them prepared. Our country's changing a lot near the AI. So what I think we need to do is
30 seconds.
Is get the tax money to help with the teachers, become more informative with them, meet them with leadership skills, teamwork, and do all the things that we need to do to support our education fully to the maximum level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hensley. Mr. Billings, you will now have 2 minutes to answer the question, and you can begin when you are ready.
I, too, think education should be funded 100%, but that's not the only thing. It should be funded 100%. We've got a $1.7 billion budget through the Kentucky Department of Education. I think that misuse, that fraud, and that abuse needs to come back to our public school systems. That's the problem. I don't think it's the problem in funding education. I think it's the problem in how education is funded, how we direct those funds. $1.7 billion with the Kentucky Department of Education. The bottom line is, if we don't fund our infrastructures in Kentucky, infrastructure is part of the reason we've got a school problem right here in Estill County. We've got to fund infrastructure. We've got to give businesses a reason to want to come to Estill, to Powell, to Madison counties. So to say we want to fund education 100%, I think we're funding education 100%. We're just misdirecting the funds. I think we still need to be thinking about our infrastructure, because without our infrastructure, it doesn't matter how many schools we build. It doesn't matter how many teachers we hire, quality teachers. And you're talking to a guy that comes from a public education perspective, grew up a public educator, and a product of the public education system. And I think we've done a great job there. I think our teachers do a wonderful job. We just need to start redirecting funds instead of letting KDE decide and tell us what we need to do with $1.7 billion in Kentucky. Again, when you start talking about infrastructure, and we'll talk a little bit more about it tonight, I'm sure, before we get to this point, but we've got to have that. It's part of the reason we've got our school system problem right next door. And I think that if given the opportunity to get to Frankfurt, you're going to find that I not only will continue to fund education, I've got an 81-year-old mother back here that'll make sure I do that. But I can assure you that infrastructure is something that also needs to be really, really looked at for the 91st District.
Thank you very much, Mr. Billings. You will now each be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Hensley will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Billings. Mr. Hensley, you will have 1 minute, and you can begin when ready.
Okay, my daughter-in-law is a school teacher. My granddaughter is going to be a school teacher here. My family has got a lot of stake here in the educational program. That's a fact. Infrastructure is very important. My children went to this middle school over here that's deteriorating. There's nobody knows more about it than me. I visited there I don't know how many times with my children, ball games, activities. That's an infrastructure problem. And the reason we need to really take a look at infrastructure on that point
30 seconds.
You know, the state barely met the budget this year. Barely made it. They had to take some money out of the rainy day fund to do special projects. We have a revenue shortfall in the state of Kentucky. You know, we're trying to drive, the rule is, hey, we want to drive to zero state income tax. But how can you do that if you're not meeting your budget? You're not meeting, your revenue's not coming in. So you got to be smart with your infrastructure. You got to use it to where you get every little penny that you put into it back out.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hensley, but your time has elapsed. Mr. Billings, you will now have 1 minute for your rebuttal. Begin when ready.
Well, I'm one of those guys that don't believe in a rainy day fund if you're a government entity. If we've got dollars sitting in Frankfort, Kentucky, and we've got a middle school over here with problems, we've got a water system on that river with problems, we need to get into that money. Period. End of story. It has to be done. Now, if it's me personally in my personal life, yeah, sure, I need to make sure that if my stove goes out or my refrigerator goes out or my air conditioning goes out, I've got enough money to purchase that. But when it comes to rainy day funds and not spending money to correct infrastructure and school problems we have, that just doesn't hold water for me. And I think that fraud and abuse of that system is where we need to direct our efforts to.
Thank you, Mr. Billings. It is now time to move on to our second question of this debate. Our next question will be asked by Sydney Riddle.
How can the state legislature work to solve the housing and rental shortage in Kentucky?
Candidates, you will each be given 2 minutes to respond to this question. The order will go Mr. Billings first, and then Mr. Hensley second. Mr. Billings, begin when ready. You have 2 minutes.
Well, the housing problem is not just a problem in the 91st District, it's a problem across Kentucky. Senate Bill 9 came out and they tried their best to create a residential infrastructure development group. And basically what that done, and it didn't see us all the way to the finish line, but I think it can, was it changed building codes. It changed lot sizes. It changed third-party objectors. You know, I don't need a third-party objector telling me that my house is only worth so many dollars if I decide to build it, and I've got to go to my local bank and borrow the money, and having a third-party objector telling me what I should or should not do when it comes to building a home. I think we need to get that back to local control. We need to take the state out of that process. Housing and building should be a local situation because it's different in Estill and Powell County than it is in Jefferson or Lexington or Fayette County or even, for that matter, McCracken or Pike County. It has to come back to local control. Housing development is a local control issue. As a legislator, we need to make sure we're giving the money that these local control groups need to fund housing development. There's problems across our industry right now, across our state, especially across this district, with VRBOs and daily rentals that are eating into housing developments. Again, that's a local issue. That's not an issue that state government needs to be involved in. And I think by seeing those kind of things to the finish line, we can make a change to housing problems. Now, we're kind of blessed. We don't have as many housing problems in our district as they do in other districts. But again, local control will dictate our housing situation.
Thank you, Mr. Billings. Mr. Hensley, it is now your turn. You have 2 minutes. Begin when ready.
Okay, let's get to the whole district here. Madison County is the fastest growing county in the state. They've been building 1,100 homes in Madison County for the last 5 years. They're going to build 2,000 for the next 5 years just to meet the demands of housing. We don't have a huge problem like that in Estill and Powell. So what's driving that? How are we going to help the people in buying homes? Our assessments, property tax assessments, are going up and up and up because every 4 years, and I live on a fixed income. I'm retired after 40 years for the railroad. I don't want my property taxes going up. So we got to take control in Frankfort and bring that back down here to the property tax assessment, make sure people are not just getting jacked up because the house next door is selling for 3 times more than what you give for yours, and it's exactly the same. So Frankfort does control it. It's called property taxes. We need to freeze these property tax assessments, start there in Frankfort, then come back down to the local counties and start helping there. This is what we need to do in Frankfort. They do help in other ways than what we're talking about here. I can tell you, I have been door knocking, and people are tired of seeing property taxes go up. And they've been there for 30 years, living in the same home. And we control that in Frankfort. I can tell you now, we can start with this. Maybe this will be the first step that we do away with property taxes, period. There's a lot of other states going that route. But
30 seconds.
My first, it's on my platform, freeze property tax assessment. We need to start now in Frankfort doing that for the people of all communities. And that's where we can start doing that to help people out. That'll freeze a lot of money up.
Thank you, Mr. Hensley. We will now be going into our rebuttals. Mr. Billings, you will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Hensley. Mr. Billings, you have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
Freezing property taxes is definitely an answer. We've already tried to do that with seniors. It's something that needs to continue on right on down the line. I do agree with freezing property taxes. But what I don't think we understand, 70% of property taxes come right back to Estill County. That's not controlled by the state of Kentucky, by the Commonwealth. It comes to Estill County, Kentucky. So if you want to eliminate property tax, I'm fine with it. Let's find a way to do that. We can't just take 70% of property tax income away from Estill County.
30 seconds.
You think we don't have it? We think we've got a problem now. Take that 70% away. So understanding that property tax situation is definitely something we need to do. And as a legislator, you better understand it, because I can promise you there's not a judge, a fiscal court, a mayor, or a city council that wants to lose 70% of their revenue and then try to balance their budget here in Estill County next year.
I'm sorry, Mr. Billings, but your time has now elapsed. Mr. Hensley, you will have 1 minute for your rebuttal. Begin when ready.
Okay. Property tax he's exactly right. It does come back to the community. I didn't say do with it. I said that's be the first step. There's already other states done away with it. There's no such thing as a fair tax, but there's other ways that can be keeping people from not having to up their house payment. When you rent something, your property, if that property tax goes up on the landlord, guess what? Your rent's going up. We need to come up with a better alternative for our counties. There's a lot of other ways we can do this. The other states are doing it. I can tell you this.
30 seconds.
When you're on Social Security and you're drawing about $1,500 a month and you're living in a house for 30 years ago that you only give maybe $50,000, $60,000, now it's tripled and 4 times worth that on property tax assessment. It's a lot of, $50 out of somebody's pocket is a lot of money. And I can tell you, that's how I feel about it. We need to start somewhere and get Frankfort involved and get this rolling till we have a better, fair tax without getting into our retirement checks and our payroll or having to make overtime to pay our property taxes.
It's now time for our next question, question number 3. Question number 3 will be asked by Darvick Stevens.
What are some ways to make education in Kentucky a high priority in the legislature, and how will you work to ensure that this is met?
Thank you, Darvick. Candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to respond to the question. Mr. Hensley will answer first, followed by Mr. Billings. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Hensley, and you may begin when you're ready.
Well, could you repeat that question again?
Yes, we may.
is this one? Nope. What are some ways to make Education Kentucky a high priority in the legislature, and how will you work to ensure that this is met?
As I said before, it's the future. It's the foundation. I love education. I went back to 50 years old and started going to college. I learned a lot at 50 years old. I learned what I should have learned maybe at 21. College is not for everybody. But when I get to Frankfort, that's what I'm going to ask to be put on. They'll ask you what type of is your tool that you think you can bring to Frankfort. And you'll be put on committees. I'm going to hold my hand up to be on education. I'm going to try to do a root cause analysis, and I'm going to try to just keep this educational program going positive. I think that it's the future. I think Estill County and Powell County needs to really get more money for the education here. You know, we have a problem with the middle school, but what we need to do is look forward and look down the road and see what our country is going to need in education. Not behind us. Use what we have behind us, but look forward. We're going to fully fund it. I can tell you that I will not be stopped in 1 minute going forward with being an expert in education. I love it. Like I said, I've got a granddaughter and a daughter-in-law does it. This is going to be setting the future of a foundation of Estill County, Powell County, Madison County, and Kentucky, by the way. It's time for us to roll our sleeves up and stop being in the lower 40s in our educational scores.
30 seconds.
I just cannot handle that. Kentucky is smarter than that. We need to go to Frankfort and say, hey, we don't want to be in the 40s no more on levels. We want to be going towards 0 if we can on 1. We need to go down the number. We're ranked in the high 40s in our educational right now. We need to get with our teachers, our educational programs, and revamp this thing. If we have to, just go back to the drawing board. If we have to, let's go back to the basics. The children are our future.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hensley, but your time has elapsed. Mr. Billings, you will have 2 minutes to answer the questions, and you can begin when you are ready.
Well, I think we talked about it earlier, $1.7 billion in waste and fraud in the Kentucky Department of Education. I think that's a great place to start. But I think the real key to education is hiring of quality teachers and teacher retention. We've got to get teacher pay to where it's supposed to be in Kentucky. And then we also have got to retain those teachers to stay in our districts, not to jump from district to district to district because this district has a greater property tax rate and they can pay more money. We need to keep those quality teachers in the 91st district. We've got to find a way to retain those teachers. And I know we've got educators in the crowd and we've got school board members and superintendents in the crowd. They understand exactly what I'm talking about. We're losing quality educators that are leaving the industry. We've got to put our money where our mouth's at and hire the correct teachers. I know everyone in this room had a teacher that touched their lives, in some cases multiple teachers that touched their lives and shaped their futures. If we don't continue to fund education when it comes to teachers, teacher retention, and then allowing our school boards, our superintendents to find ways to fund school buses. I mean, half the counties in Kentucky don't have fully funded transportation. Think about that. So we've got a ton of work to do in education. Are we going to fix it overnight? I doubt it. Are we going to fix it in 2 years? I doubt it. But we can start by making sure we keep quality teachers. We make education where we want the best and the brightest to come to Estill County. We want the best and the brightest to stay in Powell County. We want the best and the brightest to stay in the 91st district and teach my grandchildren. That's what I'm looking for as a legislator, and that's what I'll continue to fight for as we go forward.
Thank you, Mr. Billings. You will now have time for a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Hensley will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Billings. Mr. Hensley, you have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
Okay. Frankfurt's budget is $15 to $16 billion in state funds. We need to bring more money to the table for education. How are we going to do that? We're going to hire an outside auditor to come in. It's on my platform. You've read it. I hope you have. At 5% waste in our state budget of $15 to $16 billion, that's $750 million. And that's at 5%, friends. What if it was 10%? That's where you get your money to put
30
back into
seconds.
education. You get rid of your waste in Frankfurt, and you look for the most important things to apply that wasted money to. And it'll be education for me, I can promise you that. It's there. We need to do an outside audit, not an in-house audit. And I can tell you, I don't know about you guys, but I think there's more than 5%, but just think of that. 5% is $750 million. That's where you get your money to better your education program. And if you get 10%, that's $1.5 billion, by the way. So we got a
I'm sorry,
way we
Mr.
can
Hensley,
do
but your time has elapsed.
this. It's just, we got to get there first.
Mr. Billings, you will have 1 minute.
I appreciate you reiterating my $1.6 billion waste we have in Kentucky Department of Education. I firmly believe that, and I will continue to believe that. Again, education, the best and the brightest are no longer coming to our public school systems. We've got to find a way to keep those people in our public school systems, period. And we can talk about waste, fraud, and abuse all we want to talk about it. It's there. We know it's there. But we've got to start somewhere, and I think we start with teachers. We start there. We allow the superintendent of schools to hire the best teachers, to hire the brightest teachers. And then we allow that school board to find a way to support that superintendent and see that they're funded in a way that they can keep them. And again, until we start that and we start at the ground level, we can talk about all we want to in Frankfurt. They can talk about it in Washington, D.C. But until we start right in our own backyard and make sure that we're getting that funding and making sure that we're using it in the way we're supposed to, we're going to continue to have those problems.
Mr. Billings. Thank you. Our next question, question number 4, will be asked by Haven Reynolds.
What are some areas you see as opportunities to work with your colleagues in legislature from the opposing party? And what are some areas you see as opportunities to work with the governor?
Well, I've worked with the other side of my party before. As many of y'all know that I was elected 9 years as a magistrate. I sat next shoulder to shoulder to the other party. We worked together. We're not going to be going to Frankfurt and trying to create a storm. We're going to put our hand out. We're elected by the people to serve the people. We're not up there for an ego. I'm not going to be. I'm going to be up there reaching my hand out and say, let's work together. You know, 90% of the problems can be solved with the two parties working together. And I'm going to do that. Yeah, there's going to be some differences. We're going to agree to disagree. But 90%, think about that. We should be coming forward. We should be 100%. But there's going to be some things that, well, we got to put those aside because we're there to serve you guys in the 91st District here in Estill County, and Powell County, and Madison County. And I'm going to work with the governor, whoever it may be. I won't be taking office till January. And I was elected here, served with a Republican county judge. The next 5 years, I was elected to serve with a Democrat judge. As far as I know, I never had a problem. And not at all, because you know why? We work together. And that's what I'm going to do in Frankfurt. We're going to work together. Yes, I'll stand stern. I don't straddle the fence. But there's certain things that, you need to stand your ground. And I will, I can promise you that. It's been God, family, and work to me. But when I go to Frankfurt, I'm going to go to work for the people, not parties.
Thank you, Mr. Hensley. Mr. Billings, you will now have 2 minutes.
Well, we need not kid ourselves. We are a conservative state in Kentucky. We have a supermajority in the House of Representatives and our Senate and our General Assembly. But we're all Kentuckians. Bottom line, we want what's best for the Commonwealth. And to say that you go to Frankfurt or you go to the Estill County Courthouse and you don't work with the other party, you all have got a Democrat magistrate and 2 Republican magistrates. They work together. I don't think that's an issue. I do think you still need to maintain those conservative values. And if you think you're going to go down and find $54 million for the Estill County Middle School and not go down there and get along, then you're really kidding yourself. But it is a constant effort. So working with the other party is non-existent for me. I don't even think that. I don't look at Joe and say you're a Democrat, or Jimmy and say you're a Republican. You're a Kentuckian. With the exception of baseball, basketball, football, and some sports, I'm an Engineer fan, except when you're playing Powell County. I'd be lying to you if I told you any different. But guess what? When the Engineers play the Wolves, I'm an Engineer fan. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Again, I can only tell you that I know what's best. I feel like I know what's best that I'm hearing. We've knocked over 2,500 doors in Estill and Madison County.
30 seconds.
We're hearing every day the same things me and my wife believe in, the same things my mother believes in, the same thing my brothers believe in. We're hearing it every day. We can get along with anybody. We've just got to be given the opportunity to prove that we can go and truly, for lack of a better term, bring back the bacon.
Thank you, Mr. Billings. We will now do our rebuttals. Mr. Billings will go first, followed by Mr. Hensley. Mr. Billings, you have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
You know, we talked about working with people, and you can talk about not getting this support, that support. I've been endorsed by 2 U.S. congressmen, our state treasurer, our state agriculture commissioner, our Speaker of the House of Representatives, who also appoints committees when you go to Frankfort. Lifelong friend of mine. It's important to have people that you can get along with. It's important to have people you know. It's important to be able to open doors. It's important to be able to have a conversation
30 seconds.
with your local elected official and be able to get in their office and not be put off for 2 weeks. Those are things I can bring to the table, and I've worked on it my entire life. Although I've never been elected, I've never been a part of the politician program. I've never been elected. But it's not because I haven't been involved. For 30 years in my business community, I've been involved not only here in Estill, but in Powell and Madison and Wolf and Lee and Owsley and every county that surrounds me. Not just since I decided to start running for public office. So getting along with people will happen.
Okay, here's where the story behind me starts. I worked in the union for 20 years. Lost my job here in Irvin in 2000. I had to leave here and work with other people in other points. What I did in that final 20 years, I think, speaks loudly on how I can be leadership, not just as a magistrate, not as just serving, but I built a team with people. I was in the union. I worked with the union people. I think that I had 1,100 employees my last 5 years of work. I'm a team leader. I believe in building a team. I believe in filling what these people that work for us, the hard workers. I'm endorsed by 4 different groups. I'm endorsed by the Domestic Violence of Kentucky. I think that speaks loudly. This is my first time running for this campaign, by the way. I hope you realize that. And I have not been endorsed by other people in Frankfort. The politicians is already there. But I've been endorsed by a lot of working class people, 4 different labor groups.
I'm sorry, but your time has elapsed. Thank you. It is now time for our final question of this debate, and this question will be asked by Isaac Mullins.
What makes you the more qualified candidate for this office over your opponents?
Candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to respond to this question. Mr. Hensley will answer first, followed by Mr. Billings. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Hensley. Begin when ready.
Well, as I stated before, I've proven my leadership skills. I've served before, won 4 elections as a magistrate. I just got elected 2 years ago to represent the farmers of Estill and Madison County on Region 4 board. And I think that's because people trust me, that I will serve them, and I have their best interest at heart. I'm humble, but I'm bold. I think that that's the way you should be. You listen as much as you can possibly listen to the concerns of the 91st District. Like I said, I've got 5 children. I've got 5 good children, 5 grandchildren with more on the way. There's nobody who loves Estill County more than I do. And Estill County is the people. Yeah, we have beautiful mountains, this beautiful river that needs to be dredged and cleaned up that I used to swim, and many of us in this platform, it needs to be taken care of. And I promise you, I will not go to sleep on any matters that affects the 91st District. Estill and Powell and Madison will have a great leader in me. I'm nonstop. I love to work. And that's my passion, is just like I said, God, family, and work. And my motor's not going to stop. It's just going to keep going, working for you in Frankfort. There'll be time. I will attend all the physical court meetings. I'll reach out my hand to every council. I've been attending them now. I go every 3 to 4 months. They don't even know I'm coming, but I pop in. What's your concern when I get to Frankfort?
30 seconds.
Like I said, I've been going every 3 to 4 months to every council meeting in Powell and Estill. And you can ask your council members, you can ask your physical court. I'm involved in our communities. And I want to serve you proudly. I want to be honest. I want to be trustworthy. I want to be transparent with you. I'll let you know what's going on in Frankfort. I'll explain it in details to you. There won't be any waiver. And all I can say is, the election is starting May the 14th. And
I'm
I wish
sorry,
to have
but
your
time
vote.
has elapsed. Mr. Billings, it is now your turn to respond. You have 2 minutes. Begin when you're ready.
Well, if my wife could put one thing on my tombstone, it would probably say he was always involved. I can't tell you the last time me and her sat down and ate dinner at 8:30 at our supper table. We're constantly on the go, involved, from city council meetings to baseball games to basketball games to the local charity to our church to whatever it may be. But ultimately, my business experience will bring bodes of wealth to the 91st District. I've been in business for over 30 years and run a successful business in our community that 20 years ago, Chrysler asked me why in the world I wanted to continue to do what I was doing. They just didn't think it could survive. Well, we proved them wrong. Well, I've also been a successful farmer for over 40 years. We've had the ability to meet a payroll, to understand health insurance and the cost of health insurance, the cost of workers' compensation, all the above. So I think my business experience bodes a lot of wealth for the 91st District. My relationship, and I'm not ashamed of it, my relationship with House and Senate leadership is beyond reproach. And it's not relationships that I've ever used personally. I've never had to use them for anything other than what happened in my community. And I think that will bode well for me. I know Mr. Hensley said he wanted to be on the Education Committee. I'm not going to lie to you. I want to be on A&R Committee. I want to know where the money's at. Because that's ultimately what I want to bring back to Estill County, to Powell County, to Madison County. The knowledge of the process is priceless. Even though I've never been elected to the state Senate or the state House, I understand the process, and I understand what teamwork's all about. He talked about building the team. My team's already in place. I have a lot of relationships in Frankfort that I've garnered, not for any other reason, but to make the 91st District and the area that I love and support a better place to live and work. The quality of life is my number one concern.
Time has now elapsed. Each candidate will now be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Hensley will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Billings. Mr. Hensley, you may go ahead. You have 1 minute.
Okay, I've explained a few details about what I want to do and when I get to Frankfort. I think it speaks loudly. I have a platform. I've been going door to door and saying, hey, I just don't want to get elected to say, oh, I'm not going to raise your taxes. I'm going to try to get to the bottom of where your tax dollar's going. There's going to be certain situations that we're going to have to agree to disagree, but I can tell you on conservative, being a conservative, I'm a lifelong conservative. I've never wavered in that point. I believe that those boundaries should never be broken. I'm going to take care of your tax dollars. I'm going to bring it back to Estill County and the 91st District also. Like I said before, how many people is running out, hiring an outside auditor to come in and audit the state? I haven't seen it. I'm for it, and I'll promote it. And I'll tell you what,
Mr. Hensley, but your time is now elapsed.
That they're going to get you a refund.
Please. Mr. Billings, it is now your turn for rebuttal. You have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
I have no one outside the Commonwealth of Kentucky I want to come and tell me what to do. I think we've got enough quality people right here in this great Commonwealth to do what we need to do. We need to just do it correctly. Bottom line, we need to do it correctly. Fraud, waste, abuse, it's all there. We just need to clean it up. I don't care what anybody says, it takes people and relationships to get anything accomplished.
30 seconds.
You know, I remember the first date with my wife. If it hadn't went well, I probably wouldn't have been married 40 years. Again, it takes relationships, and they're not easy. And sometimes you have to swallow your tongue, and that's tough. But bottom line is, what Estill County needs, what Powell County needs, what Madison County needs, I can and will deliver if given the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Billings. It is now time for our closing, and each candidate will have a 1-minute closing. Mr. Billings will close first, followed by Mr. Hensley. Mr. Billings, you may begin when you're ready.
I know we've talked about a lot, and I don't really think a minute or 2 minutes is enough to give a response to some of the questions regarding the needs that we have in the 91st District. But I can tell you that if you don't start somewhere, you're going to end up nowhere. And I think we know what the needs are. I think folks like our fiscal court and our mayors, we know what the needs are. We've just got to find a way to bring those dollars back to our district to service those
30
needs.
seconds.
I don't need a job. Trust me. I farm 400 acres. I've got 40 employees. I work from 7 o'clock in the morning to 10 o'clock at night, every single day of my life except Sunday. I want to go to Frankfort to do something, not just to make a point. I want to go to Frankfort to make a difference. And I just need you to give me that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Billings.
Okay, Estill County. I said it before I lost my job here in 2000. I was raised here. I can remember when there was 50 cars going up down River Drive. It's on a Friday and Saturday night. 7 service stations between the courthouse and Ravenna Food Mart. It's all, we don't have it no more. But the foundation's still here. We have land in Southeast Coal Company. We need to get the move on Frankfort to help us get a few jobs coming back. We need to help expand what we have.
30 seconds.
Like I said before, I will work tirelessly for you. I'm a sun up to sundown also. I've been farming for 40 years. I still farm. I was elected, remember, as a Farmers Board representative, the board for farmers. I've been holding positions and serving the communities since I was 29 years old. And I don't think I wouldn't be standing up here without the confidence of a lot of you guys and you in this audience and the people in the 91st District saying, hey, we want you to be the next state representative. Thank you.
Thank you. This concludes our debate for the state representative. Thank you, candidates, so much for your time. You can please exit to your right. Round of applause, please. Where did Mr. Hatfield just go? Huh? Should we take a quick break or should we just go straight? Should we take like a 3? They need it. We will take a very, very, very short break. Okay. What happened?
I'm just changing.
The next debate will begin in 2 minutes.
Please begin to find your seats. We will start soon. One minute until our next debate. Please take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. Will our Kentucky State Senate debate candidates please come forward? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for a Kentucky State Senate debate. Each candidate will be given 1 minute to introduce themselves. Mr. Wesley will go first, followed by Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, you have 1 minute. Begin when ready.
Thank you guys for having us tonight, and thank you all for coming out. I pastored for 24 years. I love the Lord. I want to base my whole foundation on Him. And I believe that a lot of things that we're going through right now is because we leave Him out. And so I pastored here in this community for about 24 years. Been a chaplain in 5 counties on several departments. I love our first responders. I try to be in the community and I always try to show up. Thank you.
30 seconds, if you want to say anything else.
I'd like to recognize someone real quick, too. The church family I used to have years ago, and my mom and dad. My mom, she's probably my biggest cheerleader, and I just want to say I love them, appreciate them being here tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. Mr. Smith, you will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
Testings. Very good, folks. I am Senator Brandon Smith, and I am from Kentucky. I was born and raised here. Our homestead is actually so old that it says Fincastle, Virginia, so we were actually here when it was Virginia and switched over. And I've spent my life in public service, from being a city commissioner in the 90s to being a Boy Scout commissioner and district commissioner of the Boy Scouts of America to being past president Lions Club, creating the Montessori School in Hazard, being a Mason, and being in the Shrine and all the work we do there for the Children's Hospital, to doing a free sailing school that we do for children with autism. And I'm here today blessed with my family that's joined me, and so I'd like to have them stand up, my wife and my beautiful children and our best friend. I'll even include Hunter with it, but stand up. And this is the reason that we serve, and I'm blessed. So thank you all for letting us be here and spend the evening with you.
Thank you, candidates. Our first question will be asked by Sydney Riddle.
What is one item that you would cut from the budget immediately if given the chance, and why?
You will be given 2 minutes to answer this question. Mr. Smith, you will answer first, followed by Mr. Wesley. Begin when ready, Mr. Smith.
Very good. The thing that I would cut from the budget is going to be the wasteful spending that we have. And for example, when I say that, if you look at 2026, we put in specific measures, work requirements, and reforms to Medicaid. Because if you're healthy enough to be sitting at the house playing Xbox and doing chores, somebody else should not be working for you, should not be getting funded to stay at the house, and we should not be subsidizing you. So my thing would be to remove these programs that you're funding somebody that's able-bodied, you're just providing them with a handout with no other requirements that they do anything. We've already put this into motion 2026 to stop it, but this is one that I would further reduce so that this money goes to people who need it and not to people who do not need to have Medicaid. It should only be available to those who truly need it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, it is now your turn, and you will have 2 minutes, so you can begin when you're ready.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that question. One of the things that which at the General Assembly, we've had meetings on certain things that we would cut back and try to get it out of the thing that's wasteful. One of the things that I want to see that be removed and improved in our education is to do away with the LGBTQ things, things that's coming into our school systems that's trying to taint our kids in a lot of ways. And so if we got libraries, we have libraries throughout the whole state. There are certain things that are being funded through these libraries that's going into the larger cities that's wasting our money. And I know that many of you here that is here today, you're against certain things that's being taught to our children. So that's one of the programs that I would do away with. Thank you.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wesley. I messed that up. You had more time. I'm very sorry. If you would like it, you can continue.
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir. Very sorry. I apologize for that.
You're fine.
Okay. Our next question, our rebuttals will be Mr. Smith goes first, followed by Mr. Wesley. Mr. Smith, you have 1 minute, and you may begin when you're ready.
I don't have a rebuttal, if I could. I think that, I've expressed a concern about what I think is there. That's one of the biggest ones we run into, and I think we should reduce it. And I think that if you're an able-bodied citizen, that money needs to go to somebody, and you can think of somebody in your family right now that needs that money, and they're getting a reduced amount because somebody's on it that does not need to be on there. So if you're an able-bodied person, these work requirements should be in place. This money needs to go to people who deserve it. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, your rebuttal will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you're ready.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. What I was saying on what I was saying about what's coming into our libraries and attacking our young children is the things that they're being taught right now. I know that we hear these issues in a lot of different ways from different families, and I'm thankful that it's not here in Eastern Kentucky where we live, but in the larger cities where there is things being funded, trying to be pushed upon our kids and into our libraries. I believe that's a wasteful thing of the taxpayers' money. And I believe that you want good education being taught to our children that is going to bring, say, cursive or basic math, history, instead of things that's being taught to our children in these larger cities that's a waste of our taxpayers' money.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. Thank you, Mr. Smith. Our next question will be asked by Haven Reynolds.
With rising costs in groceries and gasoline, what role do you believe that the state legislature can play in helping Kentuckians fight against high inflation?
Candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to answer this question. Mr. Wesley will go first, followed by Mr. Smith. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Wesley, and begin when you are ready.
I believe that the things that's coming into our state right now that's trying to raise on gasoline and groceries, some things are just left out of our reach. We're not going to be able to deal with some of them things. And we want to see the lower costs go down. But here we are that we need to get men and women back to work. We need to get well able-bodied people getting back into the field, starting that workforce. And what I want to see a change is we got men and women that's driving from this county alone an hour, hour and a half to 2.5 hours one way. So we need to get industry back here instead of saying that, pointing over here, this is the cause of the prices of all these things that's happening to us. I believe that we can make a change here in eastern Kentucky in our own county.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Smith, you will now have 2 minutes.
Yeah, for me, one of the biggest things is that the government needs to get our hands out of your pockets. And when you reach in to get your money for your groceries, very often we're already in there. And so if you look at, as you go further south, a lot of times your money is worth more. And why is it? And that's something that Kentucky needs to address. Now, we've started the march this way since we took control of the Senate. And so you've seen us come up with several different plans, but the overall ones that you will be most touched by are where we've started to remove the state portion of the income tax. It was 6% when we came in, now it's 3.5%. And we've slowed the roll a little bit this session. There was a big push to reduce it more, but we saw what happened in Kansas, and we didn't want no part of that. So that was kind of an eye-opening view for us to see what happened. That's the first part of it. You've seen us also freeze people that are senior citizens that are on a fixed income. We did the property tax reform to give you some relief, because it's sad to have somebody lose their family home because their taxes or their neighborhood has now had a building development next to it. It's jacked their rates up. They can't afford to stay there. We're not going to have that. And as far as the tax part goes with gasoline, the state part, that's what goes to have better roads that we were just talking about here. We've got roads and funding, and we put $14 million worth of funding of road projects in Estill County alone since 2024. That came from that tax. What we have to have is the federal portion, and I'd like to see that reduced on diesel, which is up to 24%, and 18% on gas, to help us ease the burden for you when you're working every day, especially if you're driving back and forth to these jobs. That little bit of savings is clutch for you if you've got a family like I do with 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, and now it's time for our rebuttals. Mr. Wesley will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Smith. You have 1 minute, Mr. Wesley, and you can begin when you're ready.
So I believe in keep lowering taxes that we've already done. We got the taxes that goes by triggers that we are lowering them taxes right now. I would like to see freezing on property tax. We live in a tourist place like, say, the Red River Gorge. A lot of people from out of town, they're coming in, buying up property. And when they buy up this property and they pay a high cost or a high price for that, it causes inflation on other people's property. And so if by the legislation we can get something passed
30 seconds.
and go ahead and get that to be frozen, or we can work with local government on, because every area is going to be a little bit different. And so we can't control the gas prices, unfortunately, but I would like to see that we could one day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. Mr. Smith, you will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you're ready.
And I'll waive my rebuttal. I've said what we feel about it, and it sounds like we both agree, and I was glad to have that support with it because it makes sense. These are the things that your family gets hit with the most that we have the power to affect. We can talk about hyperbole, but these are the ones that are actually in our wheelhouse to do something about. I feel like we've covered that, so we can save some time for the audience this evening.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's now time to move on to question 3, and our next question will be asked by Isaac Mullins.
The poverty rate in Estill County is 21%. What steps do you believe need to be taken in the legislature to reduce this?
You will each have 2 minutes to answer this question. Mr. Smith will answer first, followed by Mr. Wesley. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Smith, and begin when ready.
Very good. And I've got a saying, P3, not subsidies. And what I say by that is you've got businesses that have been in Estill County as long as you can remember. They have been here and weathered the good times, the bad. They've been here during World War I, World War II, old family businesses that have stayed, whether it's a lumber yard or a plumbing operation. They've stayed, and we have in the meantime seen previous administrations subsidize and bring in cookie factories, sock factories, and as soon as those subsidies are gone, so are they. So we need to back up. We need to take a hard look at the money that we have and make a low doc, easy approach for funding grants available to the businesses that have stayed and ask them to grow. Because when you take that local lumber yard and you invest in them, their children will stay here. They will expand their house, they will decide to stay here, and their children stay in our schools, and you can see how this multiplies. So we know that the hospitals work, school systems work, but there's an entire industry that has built this town, and they deserve a break. They've had to sit back by and they've watched these previous administrations fund outside groups that have come in, and when you recruit with that tool, you recruit weak industry already. So it's no surprise when they leave. I say we back up. We do public-private partnerships with the businesses that we have. We allow them to venture out into new fields, new markets, use the technology. You are killing it with the ECHS here that you have. You're already providing them with skilled, ready students that can reach out to their families. And if we had grants available, businesses can start right on this stage. So that's what I would recommend. I think that's what you're seeing in the state, and I don't see us slowing down. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, you will now have 2 minutes to answer the question and begin when ready.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the question. I believe in strengthening the men and women that we already have here that has a desire to work, trying to get industry to come locally and closer. But the programs that we got, government programs, that we go out there, it's meant to help us. It's meant to help people, but it's not a lifestyle. And so I believe that we should put pressure on people to do away with some of these programs, limiting them, and allowing these people to go back to work. We know by the roads and the things that we need out here, it's by taxes. And a lot of people don't want to see taxes to rise. But we have to have some kind of tax revenue coming into the state that we can work with. How many like good roads? So that is used by certain taxes that we have in place already. We don't want to see the tax rolls to rise. But I do know this, we got to get our people back to work. This is not a lifestyle, staying on these programs that we offer that, and it's causing some inflation to come. But I believe that we need to put pressure on our people to get back to work. We got problem solvers here in eastern Kentucky. We got good workers. We got people that's traveling an hour and a half to 2.5 hours one way for a good paying job. And so we need to make a change. We need to put pressure on some of these things. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. Each candidate will now be getting a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Smith will begin, followed by Mr. Wesley. Mr. Smith, you have 1 minute, and you can begin when ready.
Yes, and just to reiterate, I think that you all could see that up here is part of the future, and it's not only changing how we look at bringing new businesses in and what we're looking at providing grant funding for and categorical funding for, it's also coming at us from the school system. And we'll talk about funding for schools later, but our school system is shifting here, and I will give credit for a wonderful school board. You've got a great chairman here. Your school board is very, very active in it, but this is where we get a lot of ideas for increased funding from the talent and skill-ready, workforce-ready students coming off this stage and in this school system.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, it's now time for your rebuttal. You have 1 minute and can begin when you're ready.
I'm good, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. It's now time to move on to question number 4, and this question will be asked by Jackson Schnarr.
For question number 4, candidates, what specifically have you done to secure money for the new Estill County Middle School? And when was the last time you spoke to the superintendent, Mr. Brock, about this current ongoing issue?
Thank you, Jackson Starr. Candidates will be given 2 minutes to respond to this question, and Mr. Wesley, you will answer first.
Yes, sir. I've been waiting for this question. Thank you. This has been going on for years, more than probably 20 years. And I don't know if you know of any kind of other officials has fought for our kids like I have, or fought for a new middle school because of the failing structure, but I have. And a lot of people has known about this problem, this issue, and has passed the buck on to someone else. So let me go back a little bit. When I believe in August the 7th of 23, when we was called to get together, talk about the school, and I was given the invitation to come. When we came to look at the school, it looks good on the outside, but we was instructed not to post any pictures, and maybe I shouldn't have, but I did. I believe the parents should know what kind of a school system or a school facility that they were sending their kids to daily. And it was a problem that we need to address that. Now, when we went after that, being the first public official going after this school, then it seemed like I was attacked in a lot of ways. Now, the first year, or the first time that we tried to get a game plan together, none of the paperwork was turned in. So therefore, there was nothing in place. I know that others sent out mailers against me saying that Representative Wesley could not get the money, but that wasn't the fact. The money wasn't turned in the first time. So we hit it again. We went for the $5 million. The $5 million was given to us, and then now we're on to a $10 million check because there were some funds mishandled in the $5 million. And so hopefully I can close with my remarks with that. But that $5 million, that was to relocate the kids only, and them funds wasn't used for that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Wesley, but your time has elapsed.
Thank you.
Mr. Wesley, I'm going to address that because that's not true. The $5 million was to either relocate the kids or to start a plan for a new middle school. I was in that meeting with you, so was the school board. We looked at relocation. You could not relocate with $5 million, so we started a plan for a new middle school.
Those other people that was in this same meeting, you're lying right now.
Please cease the undertone. Please cease the undertone.
So, but
you're lying.
You did? No, I'm not lying.
Yes, sir, you are.
I'll give you credit. You did help us secure $5 million. Absolutely.
And it was
But I'm not
mishandled.
lying about that.
The $10 million is to be given for relocation of the kids only. And it's not going to be given to the school,
Please cease the undertone.
but by Eric Gibson,
Mr. Wesley,
the EMA.
Please, thank you.
I am too. I am too. You're not going to.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a youth event, and you are arguing right now. Sit down, and we are going back to debate. Thank you. Mr. Smith, you now have 2 minutes. Please begin when ready.
So it tells you this is a hot issue. Folks, here's what I can tell you what I know. And the thing about facts are is they're stubborn things. That when this was brought to me, Robert Stiver, Senate President, had already told us, and we can argue with him or what, but he had put the $5 million in and secured it with you all to be able to get this engineering and get some numbers for us to come back and take a look at. About 6 months ago, Charlie reached out to me and said, listen, nothing's happening. The children really are in a desperate situation. I went and I toured the school, and thank you for that, because I was really shocked that they even had children in this school. It's heartbreaking. And the Senate, and I can't speak for the House, but in the Senate, we're allowed to prioritize 3 top projects, and whichever one of you guys come into the House, you're going to get maybe more, but that's what we get there. I called you and I told you that this was going to be our number 1. It was locked in. Well, on May the 1st at 4:30 p.m., we found out that that had actually been taken out. It had been taken out in the House of Representatives. Now, don't know who took it out, but I'm just telling you that's just the way it happened. We came back, and I called you on the 15th that morning because we had worked out a deal with something that had never been funded before. You've never seen a project funded like this before, because doing it with this as emergency money, we put our $10 million first, and that allowed us to access a $400 million fund from the state side and a $600 million fund for the federal side. And the purpose here is who cares who gets credit? The children won. We got a safe school. You did a great job. We went to bat for them. We secured the funding, and I'm sure there's things in the House that got funded in there. That's how this thing works. But I'll give credit to everybody, because in the end, the children won, and that's a desperate situation. They're going to get their school. It's going to be speed-tracked, and there's an unlimited amount of money where normally these schools are restricted to a certain pool, but you kids are the ones that are the winners here. And so I champion you. I champion a school board, and Charlie, but listen, at the last minute, they lost our paperwork. And you can appreciate this. You know how it gets. At the last minute, they come to us and tell us, we don't have your paperwork. And we're standing there with it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Smith, but your time is
Charlie
elapsed.
found and got it to us within about 45 seconds. So
Mr.
there's a
Smith,
lot
your
of
time
winners
is
here
elapsed.
today.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Each candidate will now be given a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Wesley will start us off, and then followed by Mr. Smith. You have 1 minute, Mr. Wesley.
September 11th and 24, I received an email from the SFCC that the funding was approved. Now, we don't tell them how to use that money, but there were some things that was off. It went from $32 million to $58 million. There was a lot of questions asked, and so that's what was causing a huge delay on our end. And I just can't get over some of the people that was trying to point fingers that it was this person's fault or that person's fault, and you will take that to heart. And so here it is. All we wanted to do was get the best for our kids and for our community. And so whenever there's checks coming in and trying to say that we done this or we done that, I've worked on this project for years. And so I just wanted the school to know, our community to know, that it wasn't because of our end. It was because there was just a lot of questions that were thrown up.
Mr. Wesley, I'm sorry, but thank you. Mr. Smith, it is now time for your rebuttal. You will have 1 minute, and you can begin when you're ready.
And I'll be brief, and I'll even quote Bill. Bill said before that the truth will stand when all else falls. And in this case, there were 3 people in this room when we put it together. It was Senator Stivers, myself, and Chris McDaniels. And then we got Charles on the phone to be able to lock this down. Where the project stands now is that Aaron Gibson needed a letter. He's so ready to get started. That's what's wonderful about this. They're going to get started before our July deadline where we release the funds. He needed a letter from my office telling him to get started. So I sent him one telling him, because I wrote the bill,
30 seconds.
Our intent is to get started immediately, and that should start if it hasn't already. So good job on you all for getting the stuff turned in and get it done. A big win for the school district. And it's going to be done. It's done.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. It is now time to move on to our 5th and our final question, and it'll be asked by Darvik Stevens.
What makes you the more qualified candidate for this office?
Candidates, you will be given 2 minutes to respond to each question. Mr. Smith, you will answer first, followed by Mr. Wesley. You have 2 minutes, Mr. Smith, and you can begin.
I will say for me that I have the experience. From a commissioner through being in the House where I was a minority member there. I was the only Republican in this district. Before a lot of the other people got elected, I stood alone with Rocky and Greg and all the other Democrat entourage, and there was me. To being a senator where we're in the majority and you having the knowledge, having the institutional knowledge about whether to pass an amendment or to handle something like this. That's why you're seeing a project funded that had never been funded like this before. You saw a project come about at the last hours of the General Assembly because we had the heft to be able to go in there and put our foot down to say this is not going to happen to our district. So as a respected member and as a chairman of Natural Resources and a second most senior member in the Senate who's been elected by our body to be in leadership. So having come from the House as a superminority to being the majority, to being a leader that's shown you today progress. You have more money than you've had in your road plan from 2024 to 2028 than I could find before with $14 million. You've got more investment right now. We're tapping into the $14 billion tourism industry. You've never had that dollar before, and that's new. And we have more on the table and no time to do it. But it's knowledge, institutional knowledge, experience, and having the seniority to sit at these tables where these deals are put together, and you have a prime seat at that. You're going to get a new member. There's going to be a new House member, and they're going to come as a freshman like everybody. You have to start out and pay your dues. I did. They need to have some seniority there to help them as they go through to make sure our district does not take a second seat at any time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, it is now your turn to answer the question. You will have 2 minutes, and you can begin when you are ready.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I know I don't have the 30 years experience as Senator does. I do know this. The people knows me here. They know me in this county. They know not just as a pastor, but somebody that's there in the trenches, times of devastation, times of disasters, times of funerals. They know my heart. And if I could run on any word, not just saying that I'm a Christian first and a conservative and a Republican in that order, but people trust me. And if I can run on that, restoring trust and integrity back to the office, I'm not a politician, never going to be a politician, but I will be a statesman. I will be a voice for the people. And if I can run on that tonight, I'll stand because people trust me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. Each candidate will now be open to a 1-minute rebuttal. Mr. Smith will rebuttal first, followed by Mr. Wesley. You have 1 minute, Mr. Smith, and you can begin when you are ready.
Thank you. And listen, this is not a battle up here. Bill's a friend of mine. He was a frequent visitor to my office. I helped him pass the first bill that he had through Natural Resources. He's very good friends with my secretary, Alice, and Karen. And so this is interesting for us here because my mother used to say, "Did you all have any words before you fell out?" I still love Bill as a brother, and I tried to talk him out of running. I said, "Bill, I wish you wouldn't do this." And I asked God for this cup to pass from me because this isn't a battle that I picked, folks. I'm in the process of serving and getting things done for our district, and this is unfortunate, but I still love you, my brother, and this is going to be something good either way it goes. So good luck to you, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, it's now your turn for rebuttal. You have 1 minute.
Sir. First, I want to apologize to Mr. Brock. I love him, and it's different being up here and being in the political realm. But I will say this. When the senator invited me down to his office, told me that he was retiring, that he wanted me to take up his place. Some things changed on that. And so when I was asked to kind of withdraw myself from that, I'm not going to look like that in front of my people. And so regardless, I'm going to run straight ahead. I ask for your vote this coming week, May 19th. I encourage you to all go vote and pray before you vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley.
I'll chalk it up to this. There was a misunderstanding on the $5 million. I do thank you for helping us secure that. I believe we could spend it and I talked to Christy at SFCC too. So for the preparation, which is what it was, there's still about $2.6 million of that left. If anybody wants to see how that's spent, more than happy to show anybody. I apologize for.
And if I may say, Mr. Brock, you was the one that invited me to go see the school, and I was never aware of that. But I was the first political elected official to attack this for this community, and I will continue to fight for all of you. Thank you,
Mr. Wesley. Okay. Each candidate will now get their closing statement, and we will move on. And Mr. Wesley will close first, followed by Mr. Smith. Mr. Wesley, you have 1 minute.
I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, and I love the Lord. I love Brandon, and I love our people back at the house. We've heard a lot of things said tonight. We was probably back in the back saying it just don't happen that way, and the reason I said that was to say this. Some things just goes in a different direction. You have a heart and a desire to change the world and change things when you get up there, but you don't understand the process. And so a lot of people, whenever we go out, we see people every day, and they expect a lot of things out of us, like the gas and the eggs. Some things are just out of our place. But I will say this. As a person in this community, I will continue to fight for our children, I will fight for our people, and I will fight for the things pertaining to the Lord. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wesley. Mr. Smith, it is now your turn, and you can have 1 minute, and you can begin when you are ready.
All
First, thank you all for putting this on. I think this has been a healthy event. Folks, as we said earlier, facts are stubborn things, and the truth will stand when all else falls. Now, I will tell you, I never said I was retiring, and I want to be clear about this, and I filed, and then it was some months after that Mr. Wesley filed. So if there was any doubt in there that once I filed, that should have removed that. And so I think that's why a lot of the members couldn't understand, and Frankfurt, why that we had this relationship that it would be. And again, I can't change that now. But what I can tell you is that we have a tremendous opportunity to continue to move this county forward. And I'd encourage you to stay with us, bring us a new House member, and let us keep moving forward. God bless you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Thank you, gentlemen, and you can exit on your right. Thank you very much for coming to debate with us today. That was our final debate of the night, and this concludes our debate forum for this evening. On behalf of Superintendent Charlie Brock, Principal Trent Singleton, Dean Barry Hatfield, the ECHS Y Club, Little Caesars of Irvin, and I would like to again thank all the candidates, their families, the Estill Chamber of Commerce, CG Bank, and the KYYMCA for their help in making this event possible. Get home safe, everybody.
I knew that.